Good evening, pedestrians. Welcome to AlphaISM Radio. I'm your host, Bunkei, and with me I got Keits. He has since stopped doing SRK Radio and has graciously volunteered to do AlphaISM Radio exclusively. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on, Keits? How's it going?
Waka 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 waka.
Alright, I forgot to put the link in the channel. Damn it. Hold on for a second.
The hell is that?
What?
Oh, it's gone now. Heard some crazy noise.
Oh, don't start that. I understand it's Halloween, but damn. Yeah.
My fiance went out to see Paranormal Activity 3. Oh, I'm too much of a wuss to go, so stayed home.
You know what? And when you see something real that's like a real paranoia, you realize that Halloween ain't that fun. Let's see here.
I was looking forward to the Binding of Isaac Halloween update, but I guess it's late, so. Good old Valve, everything's late. Thanks to Steam.
Alright, finally. Okay, so obviously today, Capcom finally lifted the embargo, and now we finally saw the last two characters, Rocket Raccoon and Frank West, and you know I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, man, rocket skates.
So what you think? Let's start with Rocket Raccoon. What do you think of him?
He is half what I expected and half not. And the half that I wasn't expecting, I'm pretty happy with. I really didn't picture him that small. I thought he would be more the height of Beautiful Joe and Arthur, but he is even shorter than they are, and people are going to hate fighting him just because they have to change up what they can use just to hit him.
He's worse than Amaterasu.
Possibly, yeah.
Because at least, I guess Amaterasu is wider, right? But
yeah, Ami is actually one of the easiest characters to cross up.
Right.
And a lot of times, it's really hard for the Ami player to tell if you're going to cross her up or not, because it's not quite certain where her midpoint is, like where the middle of her is.
Right.
I get crossed up a lot when I play Ami, whereas the same setups don't work on me when I'm playing like Wesker or whatever. So, when Ami's short, she's low to the ground, but when you hit her, she kind of goes vertical and becomes taller. It's not that hard to do combos on Ami for the most part.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that too.
But I think with Rocket and now with Beautiful Joe's smaller aerial hurt box, there's going to be some problems. Some characters are going to have to shorten their combos.
Yeah, and speaking of Rocket Raccoon, I mean, that burrowing move.
Oh, yeah. Seth was showing it like a teleport, but in one of the videos, he goes under and he can just like walk around underground. Is he invincible while he's down there? I mean, what's going on?
I don't know.
Something like that's got to have some serious recovery. Otherwise, he's just going to run the clock. He's going to put down some traps and just kind of burrow and run around. And what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, man. I mean, can someone conceivably run the clock out by?
Yeah, maybe.
There's got to be some way around it. I can't imagine that you can't do nothing about it. All right, so we'll get your partner in crime in here. What's up, Ski?
Hey, did it like prompt you to add me to the conference when I called you?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Pretty good feature there, Skype.
Skype is complete shit.
Yeah,
I was that out there.
Skype crashes my computer.
I was giving it its due. Good job, Skype.
I'm just letting you know that Skype crashes my computer. So randomly, my computer will freeze up. And it only happens when I have Skype open. This is some bullshit. I mean, obviously Microsoft took it over, and that's when things went down. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, okay. So
oh shit, there's GSL tonight. Oh shit.
I'm a little bit concerned about Rocket Raccoon, man.
Why?
is hard. It's bad enough that he's hard. He's going to be hard to hit. But that move that he barrels under the ground, that's...
I bet he has really low health. I bet he has Strider health.
He does. He blocked an Akuma Super, and he took like almost a quarter of his life.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have a feeling he's going to be one of the most fragile characters in the game. And honestly, obviously we don't have our hands on the game. We haven't figured stuff out yet. But right now his damage output looks really poor. A lot like Strider's does. I'm sure that can change. I remember when TVC UAS was new, everybody thought Zero's damage was poor, and he ended up being one of the top damage dealers. So you never know what people are going to find once they get the game.
Yeah, he has a ground bounce, like, and a wall bounce. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm really anxious to see what some real combos look like. I mean, he has a super that you can just naturally extend, a level 3 ground bounce. Like, I'm pretty sure that, like, he's going to be doing some damage, like, when all is said and done with him. And I think that's one of the reasons why he should have low health, like he probably well, like he obviously does. So, I mean, I think the character looks pretty cool. I think he'll have some strengths and weaknesses. I think he's definitely going to end up to be a strong character.
Yeah, I think he's a candidate for a strong character, especially from the low health. I mean, that's what Capcom does for balance. If the character has low health, they're a candidate to be very strong.
Yeah, exactly. I like that move. The move with the swinging, whatever you want to call
Log
that.
trap.
Huh?
Log
trap.
No, that swinging boulder or whatever they call it.
Log trap.
Yeah.
Is that what they call a trap? Why would they call it a trap?
Man?
Yeah, well, his moves are traps. So he has the oil trap, log trap, and bear trap.
Air trap, boulder trap, and net trap. Oh, and shock trap.
Wait, what? Are you making? Oh yeah, wait.
Those all exist.
Wait, which one? Which one's boulder trap?
Boulder trap makes a rock fall from the sky. If you move past it fast enough, it's kind of like the reverse of Trish's ground assist, where hers comes from the floor. If you pass over the boulder trap, his comes from the sky.
Oh, so it lays out.
Yeah, a rock falls down. And the shock trap hits a couple times, and net trap, if you get hit by it, suspends you in that net, and he gets a free combo, which is godlike.
So his traps are probably like Dragon Punch forward and Dragon Punch backwards, because he has like 6 of them.
Yeah.
All backwards, fireball forward, something like that.
I don't know what his motions are. I don't know.
So
I guess his teleports are probably on the S button, because I don't know. He's got too many commands.
I'm just curious. If you have Raccoon and Dormammu, and you throw out that oil trap, and then you throw out his assist, that's the T-Rock, the carpet one, that would really fuck you up.
Assist.
Huh?
Good question.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, that should really fuck you up then if you manage to land on both of them. But anyway, so now that you saw Rocket Raccoon, any teams come to mind pairing him up? It goes out to either of you.
Oh my god.
I've been thinking about this practically all day, but I stayed up all night last night, so my brain isn't exactly great right now. But I feel like, the obvious choice is Doom.
Mm-hmm.
You get the missiles in there, people suddenly can't move, you got the serious lockdown. Maybe even rocks, Doom rocks, something like that. But I don't think Rocket's gonna need like a get the hell off me assist, because he seems to be able to just go underground if he's scared. Get the hell out of there. But what I do think is going to be a concern with him is DHCs. Because when you're DHCing out of that machine gun super, it's just like Dante's. Pretty much anything will work. But when you're DHCing into Raccoon, his machine gun takes place really, 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 really low to the ground. And a lot of things aren't going to combo well into that. Same with the Spring. He's going to be hard character to DHC into, so he may need to take the point.
Okay. That's fair game. For Frank West, at first glance, I thought that he looked a little bit on the weak side.
Unless you answer the question.
Huh?
The answer about teams for Rocket.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault?
Well, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it too much anyway. Like, I don't know. Just like, I honestly have not thought about it too much. I just look at him as like a character that you'll want to pair with a beam assist. So pretty much any beam
Yeah,
Iron Man,
that too.
Magneto, Doom obviously has that. Those are the characters that those types of things jump out at me because you have like beams to complement his shots and also beams to complement his cross-ups, and I think that's like those are two of like the dominating styles of play, or they will be.
That hover thing that he can do?
Yeah, it looks like maybe
funny
it's
would that
hold
be?
up.
How funny would that be if they took away Storm's ability to call assists from hover and gave it to Raccoon? Just like they took away She-Hulk's slide and gave it to Hawkeye.
Well, they did take away her ability to call it while hovering in the super jump.
Yeah, maybe Raccoon could do it.
That'd be pretty funny, just like they took away Captain America's double jump and gave it to Iron Man.
Yeah.
They're just like, there can be only one.
Right.
That'd be pretty mean. I hope that they didn't do that, because that's something that, like, that's one of those things that, like, if we kept playing the game,
that would be
pretty
really
sure.
dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, like, nobody uses it now except, like, Justin for the most part, from what I've noticed, but, like, that's something that when you played Marvel 2, you were like, damn, like, if only I could, like, super jump and then float and call an assist, that would be broke ass. Now, it's obviously not the same game, and the assists don't work to the same extent, but I'm sure that you could figure some things out. Like, you could do really good things with, like, Dante assist and, like, Hulk assist that really nobody ever started doing.
Yeah, to go along with what you're saying, it just goes to show that Marvel 3 was a really unexplored and young game. You know, we feel like we explored it faster than any other game thanks to the internet, but there's just so much left in there. Everybody says Storm is a poor man's Magneto, but she can do so much in vanilla Marvel that Magneto can't, such as floating and calling assists, and starting the DHC glitch from anywhere, from any touch so easily, and Storm's lightning attack is pretty dumb, and nobody uses it.
Yeah.
Like, she can just attack you for free, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. It got to be a move that, like, in the same vein, it got to be a move that, like, saw more and more use during the lifespan of Marvel 2 as well. Like, it was good, and then, like, it was, like, one of the only moves that you could use against Flying Sentinel, but then it just became, like, a move that you would use from certain angles because it had a huge hitbox on the front, and people, like, didn't really know how to didn't know how to, like, make use of it at first. But then it became a move that people would actually just attack with. So, yeah definitely a lot to the game that, we certainly didn't get to, but, it's to be expected with a game with so many characters and so much new stuff that we only played for a few months. So hopefully, obviously there should be much of the same things still in the game, obviously.
Oh, yeah, a lot of that stuff's still going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Storm could still jump and then air dash up and then float, so she can achieve similar height. Yeah.
And there's no guard break. Like, that's something I keep comparing it to Marvel 2, but that's going to be my theme for the night. Why not?
Yeah.
It's something that you can't do liberally in Marvel 2, although people do it, or did do it, because you'll obviously leave yourself susceptible to guard breaks to be in that normal jump state, but in Marvel 3, you don't have that as an issue.
Yeah. You know what?
Be right back.
Okay. So, let's go to Frank West for a second. Now, at first glance, it doesn't look like he's that good. But it looks like that him powering up is very easy to do. And when he's powered up, his normals have ridiculous range.
Yeah, and I think they even, if you get to level 4, they chip.
Wow. Wow.
The thing that I'm seeing about Frank, though, is, you can power him up with, I think that it might be, like, not a huge hassle to get him from, like, level 1 to level 2, but from what I understand, like, it'll take, like, it's kind of like a hidden point-based type of thing to get him from, like, any level to the next level. So it looks like they do a 9-hit combo, and they get him from level 1 to level 2, but then, like, maybe from level 2 to level 3, you'll have to do, like, 20 hits or something like that. And I think that if you get the camera in the combo, then you'll get more points for it. So
that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, so the whole drinking mechanic and vomiting, like, I feel like that's something that we really won't be able to use too much because the vomit seems to come out on a timer. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to have in order to have like the perfect like ideal setup so that you know that you won't get hit and you know that you will leave nothing to chance is like you'll want to combo into the drink and have like a set combo that will put you down at a time where you vomit and then like call the assist before that so you can scoop them right back after it or at least like make yourself safe.
Oh, right.
What, go ahead?
No, I said right. You're right. It was
Yeah. Yeah, because like otherwise the fact that it seems to be like if you drink, you vomit after like say 10 seconds, but you have to be like in neutral. So it's not going to be like the exact time, you know, so if somebody, you know, runs away from you for just a second and a half or 2 seconds and then you try to go to your canned combo that you know would make you safe if you were to like combo into this combo into the drink and then keep going, then you're liable for the combo to like end early or something if you should touch the ground before that or if you should have an OTG. So, you know.
Wait. You going fast. You saying that the vomit won't actually take effect until you are in neutral?
It seems that way.
It doesn't like, it's not gonna like cancel your move. So like if you're doing something, it's not gonna come out and it's not gonna come out if you're in the air, obviously. But
interesting.
Yeah, but if you do like an air combo land and then go to OTG, then it'll interrupt you before you OTG. But if you're doing an action, it won't cancel the action.
I think they should make the vomit OTG.
Yeah, I was wondering about something like that, but you know, I think that now that I'm thinking about it, I think that it might be manageable if you drink and then you just say, all right, well, it's been about 5 seconds, so I should either try to land a hit, so I'll do an air combo, and then, you know, I'll be safe after the OTG, maybe? Like, you know, I won't get an OTG attempt, but I should recover from the vomit at the same time that they get up, or now it's been 5 seconds, so I should just try to run away.
So what does the drinking do?
Powers up the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, powers up the camera. Okay.
Yeah, it makes you get more experience when you take photos. And
oh, I see. So it helps
I'm curious
to level
about
up
what kind of state the vomit is. Like, is that a normal or special move state? Because if vomiting is like normal move state, you could special cancel it. But probably not. If it's special move state, you might be able to super cancel it. But Frank doesn't look like he has any safe supers this time.
And I wonder, can you X factor out of vomit?
You can super cancel out of Deadpool's teleporter explosion.
Yeah. From what I'm told, though, you can only X factor it unless it's changed.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there's that, but is it going to be worth that?
If he's the last guy left, yeah, obviously.
Right.
Interesting.
I wanted to make some comparisons to TVC because I think I'm the only person who ever won a TVC tournament with Frank. Ever. Because he was terrible. He was probably the worst character in that game.
So now this could have been just how they presented it, but it looked like one of his supers either is like a counter super or it has a lot of invincibility. One where he puts the serve bot, you know.
That one is an anti-air grab, and it looks like it has similar effects to She-Hulk's anti-air grab, which also has a lot of invincibility.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Because I saw Super Scroll, he did his super in the air, and then Frank went right into it.
But that's an air grab, so if they're on the ground, that's not going to do anything.
I see. By the way,
like She-Hulk does.
I'm a little bit sad that Mega Man Super is not in there, but
yeah,
I was hoping that Capcom would continue trolling us about Mega Man. And
well, to compare, in TVC he had zombie calls that made him stand still for a second, and then the zombie would come out. And the zombie was like a neutral projectile. It could attack Frank, or it could attack the opponent. So you had to avoid your own zombies, which made them absolutely horrible.
Well, it looks like this one is more like... Is it more like Jill from UMvC3, right? You know.
Well, in Marvel 3, they look like projectiles, where they kind of attack him in the startup animation, and then he flings them at you.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
okay. The ground zombie grabs you long enough for Frank's slow ass to get over there and do whatever he wants, which is pretty good, assuming it has any durability at all, and he can cover the startup of it. Like, you could confirm something like Sentinel drones hitting on cross-up and then fling the zombie over, which would be pretty good. In TVC, Frank's camera was just his assist, and it didn't do anything other than like a full screen quick hit, whereas in Marvel, obviously, it has function. But one of the things I noticed about it was that in one of the clips, Storm is doing Whirlwind, and he jumps up and takes the picture, and it beats it. You know, like,
Wow.
how are you going to zone Frank with anything if all he has to do is jump around and take pictures? Eventually he'll level up, even though it'll probably be slower than if he comboed, you know, according to what Ski is saying, if that's how it works. So there's always that. Him zoning with the camera isn't going to do damage, but a lot of people have also noticed that when he does take your picture and it hits, he gets life back. Do you guys notice that?
What?
No.
He gets life back, and it appears to be yellow health that he gets back, not just red health. It increases the amount of red health he has left.
Hmm.
So that's very interesting.
I noticed the move doesn't have a lot of hits done.
No, almost none. But it'll interrupt what you're doing, so if you're trying to put out a laser or whatever, you're going to get hit.
Yeah, but if you're like... I feel like if you're a little bit close, you might be liable to get hit after it.
Oh, yeah, like if it trades, you might still get comboed.
I feel like if you're just at point-blank range, it's possible that he's even at negative, just the way that it looks.
Wow, alright. I can
It's
see
hard
that.
to say. It's really hard to say, but I think it's definitely possible.
So the camera.
Although you should be probably shot at dawn for doing that at point blank range, right?
Yeah.
Right, I think that's the key will be like not doing it at point-blank range if that's the case, and, you know, just how it looks.
Frank's command grab super from TVC is gone, and his command grab appears to be gone as well, which sucks, but his normals look improved in speed. He had some of the slowest ones in TVC. And he's received a super that looks like it has a lot of invincibility, and he got a cart super that is an OTG, so it lets him finish up combos a lot easier than he would have otherwise been able to. His cart projectiles are gone.
But it's
He
available
still
as
has
an
his
assist, it
dive
looks
kick,
like.
and it looks like his dive kick ground bounces, so that's a really good thing.
So, but that card is available as an assist, right? Because I think I saw it used as an assist.
Yeah, he runs by with just the card out, which is pretty cool. I wonder if that has any invincibility or wall bounces or anything like that. And he has that axe normal or special or whatever that ground bounces. If that's an overhead, that'll be godlike. It's probably not.
Looks like an overhead.
I'm pretty sure
I hope
that's
it's an overhead.
Wow. I mean, I guess the thing that gets me is that, I guess we should thank Capcom for looking what held Frank back in TVC and improved on it. And
I don't even think it's that. I think they just went back to the drawing board and said, this TVC Frank West wasn't representative of who the character is, and let's make this character really like he's ripped out of Dead Rising. And I think they did a lot better job this time.
I think they were just like, oops, we fucked up, he sucks. Let's just redo, we got another shot. Or maybe those were just like all the throwaway moves. They're like, yeah, alright, well, we gotta save something for Marvel 3. We gotta save some juice, so just like give them some cart shit and make the zombies shitty.
it would be kind of cool if the Mega Man Super he has it, but just not. It wasn't displayed.
No, I don't think
No,
you're right.
he already has 3 supers.
Yeah. I mean, he could have 4 supers, but I don't think...
Is there any character that has 4 supers?
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
Somebody does. I don't know who.
I forget who
Sure,
too, but somebody does.
I don't know
The
who.
other thing about Frank is that his slide normal, was already good in TVC, but crouching heavies were not cancelable into launchers in TVC, so you had to cancel into a special move. And pretty much all of Frank's special moves in TVC were unsafe, whereas it looks like he has safe options in this one, and of course you could just cancel the slide directly into a launcher and score some pretty good damage. If his launcher's safe, then that's even better.
Wow.
I doubt his launcher's safe. That would be a little ridiculous.
A lot of launchers are pretty
Like-
safe in that game, man.
Not like he's Wesker in here.
Yeah, a lot of launchers are relatively safe in Marvel. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Hey, so did you guys see Ryu with the Ken outfit?
Yeah, that's
funny.
pretty classy.
It's funny as hell.
His hair sucks, though. I'm just like, this is kind of stupid. Like, yeah, but now I feel like the blonde hair is just a little bit overkill because I feel like it just doesn't look right.
It seems
I
to
think
look
they're just-
okay.
They're just trying to say that, Ken's not coming to this game ever.
It's like it's a token reference to MVC1 where, you can be Ken and Akuma and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Well, considering that they put him, give him Ken, but take real Mega Buster away from Frank, still leads even further speculation that they may possibly do that.
Not only did they take real Mega Buster away from Frank, but Zero's new colors do not include a blue Mega Man color.
No, not at all.
Where they did in the
X
original.
color.
Yeah, they gave him the X color, but he doesn't have the classic full blue Mega Man color. So we probably can bet on Mega Man being DLC if DLC characters are part of the plan.
Yeah, and then all the fucking fanboys of the world would have a collective, simultaneous.
And then we buy all the gems.
Yep, they'd have an orgasm, and then they'd go buy a bunch of gems.
Jim! Jim! I'm not playing that again.
One of my favorite songs, man. I used to watch that show a lot, and I felt bad. Because I was like, this is clearly a girl show. But it was like, if there was a cartoon on, I was going to watch it. And it came on, on, what was that, Cartoon Express? And it came on at a weird time.
USA's Cartoon Express. I had all the old cartoons on it.
I just remember Jim was like my first, the first cartoon I ever seen that had kissing, in the lips, French
Fun fact though, Gem was originally written, several episodes were originally written by Paul Dini, who you guys might know is the dude that basically runs Warner Brothers Animation. He created Batman the Animated Series and Justice League and all of the DC animated
that's simply outrageous
shows. It's totally outrageous, if I remember correctly.
Speaking of totally outrageous, I want to talk about Virgil for a second.
Truly outrageous, you fucking noobs.
I don't know, I don't watch that shit.
True.
I'm a man, I have balls and penis.
I have balls too, they're girls. It's like watching Sailor Moon because the girls are attractive even though they're cartoons and there's something wrong with that. What were you talking about?
I just...
Sarah Lima.
You made me lose my train of thought. Okay, I want to talk about Virgil for a second.
Virgil's top 5.
He's absolutely, they're talking about how they nerfed Dante. It doesn't really matter now.
I don't think Dante is weak at all. I think he's just fine.
They simplified his inputs. I don't see how that
they
would
made,
make
They made Dante easier, then they combined Dante with Wesker and made that character easy too.
Virgil. Absorb Wesker.
I'm curious as how safe his stuff is, though. That's the only thing
You
I
can teleport. You can keep anything you want safe by teleporting away.
Yeah, but that becomes predictable after a while.
I guess.
But you can always cancel the teleport into Double Trigger or Sword Super.
In the air?
Yeah. He's Virgil, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Whatever. I've got my lawyer and my raccoon. Fuck everything else.
Yeah, have fun losing with your low tier shit team.
I'll let you guys go ahead.
And the shit talk starts.
No, Keats always gives me shit for everything, so it's all good.
It's fine. When you live in Michigan, what do you expect,
Yeah, true.
I heard you got a job. What's going on?
Let's give it up to Tin Dog! Employment and this fucking down-ass economy.
Yeah, I finally got a job. I'll be working for Chrysler, doing what it sounds like QA and software development for some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet
Congratulations. I'm like, getting a job in Michigan is like getting a job in Iraq.
Yeah, Robin.
Actually, it's pretty easy to get a job in Iraq, actually.
Yeah,
No, you get a job from here and then you get a job in Iraq, but not like go to Iraq and get a job.
But yeah, like Robin started tearing up when I told her I got the job, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, man, I've been unemployed for 2 years. It's constant frustration. Adam will be able to tell you how frustrated and stressed out I've been over all
Did you
this.
get any employment sex?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah! I'm happy for you.
Thanks, Ski.
Now it's DS's turn to get a job.
No, that's definitely.
Ooh.
Wow. Did you?
Damn.
So man, you know what? So let's. I want to
He's
talk.
next up.
Huh?
He's next up.
I'm next up. All right.
Hey, you got a job.
Nah, yeah, you're right. At least I have a job for right now. We'll see, because the company is quote unquote restructuring.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
No, it isn't a good sign. Especially when I start seeing things like personal financial specialists. Because I'm a personal banker, and they added a new job title in my family called personal financial specialist. And you know, so a personal financial specialist is someone that can sell investment products and life insurance, something that I can't do. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, because I live in I work in a pretty affluent neighborhood where they already tried numerous times to get someone that has a investment products to come into the banking center, because they've already said, the CEO already said that the preferred group is the fastest growing community in the country, which means the people with a lot of money. So Bank of America really want to focus on people that got a lot of money, and you know, and continue for the news, you know. So, I want to talk about, just for a moment, since I got Keats on here, I want to talk about Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
I do too, actually.
And I want to put some things by you. And first, I read your article about how Street Fighter Cross Tekken can cause some problems for tournament organizers. All right, so I guess the first thing is we can't rush the judgment, because still we haven't seen how it's implemented yet. You know,
Right.
So, but let me add, but just seeing what's on the horizon. One question, a burning question I have is, what about? And we try to find some way to make this work. What about only when you do this tournament for you faggot? You gotta. What about just the gyms that already come with the game? What about just limiting it to the gyms?
Rephrase. I don't quite follow you.
That means, so they're saying that. I'm assuming that when the game comes out, there's going to be a certain amount of gyms that's already in the game. Maybe not very many. Maybe 5.
So do I have to unlock those gems?
Probably. I imagine that if you beat the game in single-player mode, maybe you would get a few gems, you know.
Okay. So do I want to sit around and unlock those gems separately on 8 different Xbox 360s?
But how is that different from Street Fighter 4 Vanilla?
I wasn't running tournaments during Street Fighter 4 Vanilla.
Good point. You know, and you know, I think that, I'm really more concerned about the time issue, because I think that that's a bigger issue.
Okay, well, think about the unlocks for a second. Let's go back to that.
Okay.
How did you unlock vanilla characters? You had to beat the game with different characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only one that was hard to get was Seth, because you had to beat it with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if you turn the time down and put it on one round, it didn't take that long to complete. It actually took probably half the amount of time it takes to go through MK's story mode, which is required only for 2 of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat is a story mode?
MK's story mode does not allow you to skip the cutscenes. Good
Yeah,
shit.
that was terrible.
Wow.
Shoutouts to Heroic Legacy from Chicago, who is my designated keymaster at my tournaments. Goes through and unlocks Mortal Kombat bullshit for me. Gems, with the comparison being made to Magic the Gathering, I feel like it's going to be slot machine based. I feel like you're going to earn points, and you're going to go and roll the dice, and you get a couple new gems. And you don't know what you're getting, and there will be ones that are harder to get. That's how I feel like they're going to do it. But
wasn't that in Smash Brothers though? Like you
they
had
do that shit in all kinds of games. You know, if there are a default set of gems that come with the game that we can agree to try using, that is a possibility. But we'll see.
Okay, I mean, obviously, if it's slots, then that makes things a whole lot more difficult for you, and I hope they don't go that route. You know, the time issue is something that I thought about long and hard, and frankly, I honestly think that you may have to cap the amount. Well, let me ask you questions. Maybe I'm asking the wrong person, but CVS 2 took hella long to finish. How did you guys make that work?
In a way that, I mean, you took forever in CVS2 because the game just took a while.
Right,
I don't
understand.
take forever because the menus take a while.
Right, but I'm saying, but in both cases, the game take way more than what's considered normal. So, how did you guys deal with CVS2?
Dude, the average tournament size back when CVS2 was a big game was like 60 people.
Oh, well, yeah.
Now the average tournament size is like 200 people.
Yeah, but like, what happened with CVS2 at like 2 or 3 Evos in a row was that they made it single LM or no, they didn't make it single LM. What they did was they would be like, all right, CVS2 players, losers bracket matches are now one game, one match, and you'd be like, what the fuck? I fucking flew 500 miles here to play CVS2, and now my tournament life's about to go out on one game. That happened more than 1 year in a row.
Ooh, okay, I don't like that. I thought that there was a more of a more developed, more innovative, researched idea than just saying, okay, one match. I'm
not going to do something like that at one of my tournaments. So I'm going to put the rules online before the tournament starts, and that's what we're going to do. If I feel like I can't make the time constraints I've laid out, and I've made a grievous mathematical error, I will correct it by buying more equipment. That is the bottom line. But I don't want to put myself in a position where my math is bad. So obviously, before I schedule Street Fighter Cross Tekken for my event, I'm going to get a copy of the game, which I don't want to do. And I'm going to do some research on how long gem selection takes and decide whether or not we're going to even allow gem selection. Because this whole thing may be moot. Evo may decide they're not running Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Other tournaments may decide they're either not running it or they've decided to just ban gems altogether. You know how I am about banning. I don't like the idea of playing a game in a way that it wasn't meant to be played. So I just as soon say, fuck Street Fighter Cross Tekken if we have to ban the gems and never run it again. But I will run it the first time and give it a shot and see what happens.
Now, I hear about that. To me, there is no way they're not going to have Street Fighter Cross Tekken at EVO next year. I don't see them just leaving that out. I just don't see it.
I don't know. Wizards is pretty actively hating that game, so... But then again, Seth recently mentioned that they may cut Pandora mode altogether, so maybe they are actually reevaluating the game.
They ain't cutting that shit now. No, you see the fucking hullabaloo they put behind that shit? Yes, I just said hullabaloo. Look, here's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that Ben is probably right. Like, there will probably be a handful of gems that I think are going to be default available from the jump. And, like, those might be the only gems that are selectable. You know what would be awesome? If there's just fucking 10 of them. Or 5 of them.
Yeah, I imagine. There's not going to be very many of them. And I think that one thing that I'm thinking of is, as far as them including it or not, I mean, the game, to me, has, it can bomb. I mean, no one knows for sure. But I think the game is going to be a success. And I think that I'm glad that we're having this dialogue now because, by the way, Pandora mode being taken out, I actually agree with that. And I'll tell you why. Is because with Pandora mode, if you pair up some of them gems with Pandora mode, you can come up with some stupid shit.
I like stupid shit, though. I want to see crazy stuff happen.
I mean, if I'm playing Geef, and I got 3 power-up modes, and I go into Pandora mode, that's your ass.
That's fine.
That's how it should be. That's the game. There's another thing though that I wanted to mention about Evo. They could, it doesn't have to be an official game. It could be an exhibition game.
Yeah.
It could be a 5-on-5 East Coast. Like they could do anything with it to include it and still not have it be a main tournament game. But I think what it's gonna, you know what? Yeah, because the games are gonna be decided before. Cross Tekken even comes out.
Yeah. But you know what? That's a good idea because I'm thinking an exhibition 2-on-2, like literally 2-on-2. Because since the game has that mode where it can be 4 people at one console. I mean, I'm saying that why not? I mean, I would be pretty cool actually. I think so. Maybe an exhibition 2-on-2. And Japanese versus U.S. versus Japan or something. I don't know.
I think
I'm
it's
just-
important that we all made a big stink about this right now when there's still time to change it. Early
Me
in
too.
the life
Yeah,
of Marvel 3, a lot of people made a stink about the game being TVC2, and I think a lot of that stink caused massive changes behind the scenes and gave us the Marvel we have today, which I love.
Those guys fucked up. Bring back air dashes. You guys fucked up.
Air dashes are cool, but I do like what Marvel 3 is, and I greatly enjoy it.
Well, I mean,
glad
you're in you are. I think that you are in the majority, but in the vocal minority. And to me, I like MVC3. I can't play it. I mean, you guys, I mean, my reactions are just. I mean, might as well be a 90-year-old old man.
And when you go back to Street Fighter 4 after playing Marvel 3 for a couple hours, it feels like you're underwater.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
slow. You can Dragon Punch every jump because they're in the air for an hour.
And I like one of the things I like about MVC3 is that, first of all, I like the fact that in MVC3 that that a lot of characters have mix-ups that they can do on you, where in MVC2 there's only a couple of characters that genuinely had mix-ups that
That's
they can
because
do on
Marvel
you.
vs. Capcom 2 wasn't designed. It was
Right.
thrown together.
Right. But I just like the fact that they're, and I like, what really I'm kind of sad about MVC3 going away, vanilla MVC3, because I've seen some nice shit over the last few weeks with the tournaments of what forcing people to guest when they're coming in, anti-Phoenix technology coming up, I was really liking that stuff, and
Yo, man, I played Marvel 2 and Marvel 3 in the same day the other day, and, the only thing that made me sad was that I was playing Marvel 2 on fucking Xbox.
yeah.
Yo, that game is way worse than I even realized, and I have it, and I've played it, and I watched people play it and everything, but when I sat down and played it, it was like, I was like, whoa, was this the same game that I remembered? It's like the 8% of the game is so different. That's different. It's like you just can't do the stuff that you were doing. Like your combos with Magneto don't work. You have to just do resets and shit like that. And it kind of brought my friends were like saying, "Oh man, don't you remember when you were commentating the game at Evo?" And just like everybody kept dropping all those combos, and I was like, "Yeah, I thought everybody it was just rusty." No, but it was still. I was still like, yeah, well, at least I got Psylocke. And MVC3, I have, unblockable left-rights, which is not cool. Not cool, man. They're not cool. I don't care what anybody says. Unblockable, true unblockables are cool. But unblockable fucking teleport bullshit, not cool.
Well, here's hoping that at least some of it is toned down a little bit in Ultimate. It doesn't seem nearly as bad as it was in Marvel 3. But
It's not down. They just made it so you can actually fight it before it happens, which is good at least.
yeah, that's something. I mean, and at least you can fucking zone in this game for a change. You couldn't really do that at all in
Yes, you
Marvel
can.
3.
Yes, you can. You just can't zone with the zoning characters. You zone with Magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the Magneto players just jump around in your face instead of shooting Disruptor, which is the best projectile ever.
Yeah,
I didn't know, man. I'm like, what the hell is up with that beam, man? His projectile beam.
Well, there is one, this one kid in Michigan, his name is Online David instead of Ultra David. He plays a pretty decent zoning Deadpool character. It's like Deadpool, Sentinel, Magneto, I think. And he's
Did
actually
he
pretty
work?
good.
Is it Online Tony and Ultra David doing a fusion dance?
No, this kid is in high school. He's actually pretty good.
If you're playing Deadpool right, you're not so much zoning as you are running.
Yeah,
And,
that's a lot what he's doing.
You don't really build up a lot of chip or fear in your opponent because his zoning is really easy to get around. So you just end up running and throwing shurikens, and when they jump too high, you do quick work to go under. Deadpool, I don't really feel is a zoning character. I feel he's a tricky runaway character.
What about Dormammu?
Dormammu,
He's better when you fucking teleport and go in on him.
Dormammu's
Yeah.
rushdown is way better than his zoning, and because his normals are so good, you're encouraged not to zone. You're encouraged to make them think you want to zone, so that they jump into your crouching medium.
Yeah. Crouching medium is by far one of my favorite moves in that game.
Look, I could fight Dormammu. I could fight every Dormammu if they never did teleport with Magneto Assist or something like that. Like, they would be fine. Once they do that, I'm like, oh, that was actually unseeable. Good shit. Now I'm dead.
And now he can do it himself with his little finger laser. He doesn't need an assist anymore.
Yeah, the forward
wall
and
bounce
H
for it.
Well, he's always had the wall bounce, but he can actually special cancel it now. So
So he'll do finger laser teleport, and then he gets the projectile mixed up on the teleport, and it gets him a wall bounce, and he doesn't even need an assist to help him.
Sounds pretty buff.
Yeah, I think he's in my my theory top 5 as well.
Meanwhile, She-Hulk, she's got a lamppost.
Hey, you don't know, that lamppost might be godlike.
What are you guys talking about? Lamppost?
It has armor on it. I mean,
I heard it doesn't actually have armor on it, and it's ass. That's what I heard.
it was in one of the builds.
It used to have armor on it, it doesn't now. But she has the armor run now. Maybe
Yeah.
That's gonna be that actually might serve the purpose of filling the gap that she has against incoming characters, where you basically have nothing that's good to do against them. It might help out a little bit. You're still gonna need an assist, and it kind of remains to be seen, like, what she can do after that, but, that might help. I still think that she's a character that's overrated, because, like, 4 of the best players that ever played video games in the United States play her, and they do pretty well with her, but 3 of
easy to
them...
play as.
Sure she is, but, like, she's not, like, easy to win as. Like, who even breaks top 8 with She-Hulk besides those 4 guys and Nerd Josh? Right?
Point taken.
Yeah,
And,
that's
like,
a valid point.
And who actually wins besides 2 of those guys, and it's fucking Justin and Combo Fiend. And Justin's fucking put her aside, and Combo Fiend is Combo Fiend. In the early life of any game, he plays some random team, and he wins with it because he's fucking Combo Fiend. Like, the game hasn't even been out long enough for him to be forced to play top tier. But, like, he's fucking godlike at the game, and then he would just get fucked up by, like, random Phoenix.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of depressed that they took away her air dash. I thought that was really going to help her game out a little bit, especially with the stuff they took away from her, like her slide and whatnot. So, I guess
She
time
really
will
shouldn't
tell.
have an air dash, though. It doesn't fit the character, and that's definitely the way that they wanted to play things.
That's
I don't
true.
care, man. That bitch breaks the 4th wall, whatever. I don't care what your fucking reason is for it. She shouldn't be pulling lampposts out her ass. Or if you want to
I mean, how do you explain Captain America double jump?
Oh, God.
Captain America is very agile.
Yes, yes.
Hey.
Air dash.
I got 5 of you on this thing. So tell me, why the hell is Iron Man in the game with Nova? What does
Why not?
Iron Man have that Nova doesn't? I'm just asking.
Money.
Beams.
A movie.
Good point. Because I'm seriously, like, I'm looking at Nova, I'm like, we need more police. There's I don't see any reason why to play Iron Man in Ultimate. I'm sorry, unless now let me go ahead and put a disclaimer. This is my ignorant ass opinion on AlphaISM Radio, just in case Iron Man turns out to be, the best character in the game. Because this shit has happened before. Because remember, right before UMvC3 came out, nobody's gonna play Dark Phoenix. That bitch can die in 2 hits.
I didn't say that. I was like, you guys are idiots if you think that Phoenix is gonna be bad. But that's just me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so and we learned that lesson. And
But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm more confused as to why they put Nova in this game, because it looks like they just kind of smashed Super Skrull and a little bit of Iron Man together and made this character, and I don't know why at all. Like, he doesn't do anything unique at all, except for his supers eat his red life that build his power, but still, it doesn't make any sense to me.
he doesn't have a unique moveset, but he looks like a very complete character.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, I don't find anything lacking with him. He has pretty much all the tools you will really want, in
it's
a
the
character.
argument that it's the argument that I'm trying to figure out is the same reason why they wouldn't let the Fantastic Four in and they gave them Super Skrull. It's like, why put the Fantastic Four in, or any of them, if you have Super Skrull? Well, why put Hawkeye in if you have Taskmaster? Why put Nova in when you already have Iron Man and Skrull? I like a lot of it doesn't make any sense.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't think Hawkeye, Taskmaster are going to play anything alike. But I think that the answer to your question is, I think Marvel wanted them because you look at the characters they put into MVC3 and now UMvC3, and it looks like they really want the Fantastic Four represented in the Marvel series.
Well, there's only a limited number of character slots, and Skrull hits all the Fantastic Four, but Hawkeye is going to be in the Avengers movie. So,
That's true.
A lot of these guys are definitely promotional characters.
Right.
I think that Nova is going to end up different enough from Iron Man that he'll be like a pretty different character.
I'm just saying, man, he to me, the way that he reminds me a lot of Iron Man, just a nicer version of him, at least on the surface. But I'm sure that Iron Man will.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really cool moves. I just personally think they just kind of looks kind of boring and generic.
And they say that they knew that was going to be the case. They knew that he was not going to be anything special, But it looks like that he has a really, really good moveset, and I'm looking forward to playing him because I already decided I'm going to. It's kind of funny. I'm going to pair him up with Super Skrull.
I think he's going to be at least as different as like Magneto and Storm are, or they'll be pretty much as different as Magneto and Storm are, or at least they were in like Marvel 2, where they're like pretty much they're like archetypically similar, but they have different strengths.
Right. By the way, is it true that they changed Magneto's combos? Like none of his old stuff works.
His ROM doesn't work that well.
He's still got some of his combos, but he's going to play differently, definitely, because his dash is different. And
most of his stuff still works with small modifications. I saw some video of some Magneto. They figured out stuff that does. Yeah, their stuff does nearly the same amount of damage.
Oh, that's
just had to change it up a little bit.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen with Dante as well, of course.
Yeah.
Like you can still do the ROM, but you have to use on the way up middle instead of heavy. And you'd lose a little damage and a little meter there, but it still works basically the same.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tron. Tron still has some of her stuff where you just
Tron can zone now.
Yeah, well, we'll see how well. But yeah, it looks like you have to do light instead of going light after trying to do jumping H, and then be able to do light, medium, and then forward, medium, then jump cancel that instead of having to just go medium, forward, medium instead. So there'll be some differences. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna test Tron out for a little bit, and then if she's just not what I like, then I'm just gonna drop her because there's just way too many characters with too many differences to want to embrace and hold on to a team that's not going to work out for you at all. So
she's not going to work out.
Hey, did you guys know that there was a Lobo fighting game that was being made for Genesis?
Yes, the Lobo fighting game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking this up today. I thought it was interesting. Did you see the video of it?
I never saw the video, but I did.
Oh my god, it's fucking horrible. It looks really bad. That was just something that I had to bring up because
it's Lobo, the DC character.
Yeah, it's ruined my life. It's ruined my life that I've now seen the video. It has fatalities.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's really bad. But yeah, like Justice League Task Force was done by Blizzard, so.
Wow. Well, fuck Blizzard. What have those guys ever made?
A few other things after that, especially when they went to PCs.
No, I'm not sure I've heard of them.
Man, Blizzard, hey, the new Star Wars MMORPG may be a piece of shit, but man, that trailer was godlike.
Yeah, I'm in the beta. It's an interest. It's Coder, like Knights of the Old Republic, online.
Which I love. By the way, that being one of the best games ever for Xbox, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I got really bored with it after a while. I mean, Coder is nice, but it doesn't have as Overpublic doesn't have nearly as nice of a story as Coder does, and I don't think you should be paying $15 a month for a single-player experience that when you can just play Coder. But that's just my opinion. To each their own.
So, this Herald's mode in UMvC3, can that be played online?
Yes.
Oh, God.
That's gonna be so fun.
That's going to be so fun. I really cannot wait.
That's how the gem system should be. You know, its own separate mode where you can do wacky shit on the side just for S&Gs, you know. And I don't know. I'm still bitter about Street Fighter X Tekken, but Heroes and Herald's mode looks really fun. Like, really, really fun.
I have this feeling that Street Fighter Cross Tekken will get really stale without gems pretty quickly.
Do you think so?
That's kind of a suspicion.
You know, I'm one of those people that I want to, you know, of course, wait, but I just know that whenever there's a new system mechanic or a new way of doing it, there's always the people that will say that shit will never work, and then 3 years later it's the standard, and you wonder why it hasn't been in every fighting game, you know. And
yeah, like X Factor.
I mean, yeah, because to me,
I'm just playing with it.
Yeah, you know, but and even then, just like with X Factor, I mean, even if the first game has, you know, fatal flaws in it, but at least something can be learned of it and can be improved in the next game after that. You know, it's. I mean, you're gonna make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs. You know, so I understand why Capcom is doing what it's doing with it. I wonder that are we overreacting to it, because I would still remember when ST was in testing and there was a super meter, and I remember there were people that literally lost their heads over that, and they thought that was bullshit to have a super meter in a Street Fighter game, and you know using ROG or some of the other characters that have that the super meter does 80% life, they thought that was just plain stupid. But you know, 15, 20 years later, it's considered a standard, you know.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I definitely think that, like, as far as X Factor is concerned, I think that its detriment to the game is a little bit overstated. I think that it actually is like a pretty decent mechanic, especially given the environment of the game where everything's so unforgiving. But I think that it's definitely overpowered in its initial incarnation. I feel like, in reality, maybe like 40% of the time, it's used to extend a lead, and like 60% of the time, maybe it's used to make a comeback. So, while it is like there as a comeback mechanic, it kind of goes to a conversation that Keits and I were having about before, where it's hard to make something that only benefits the losing guy if both players have access to it. So even though it'll get stronger as you go along, it's still something that can be used to get out further when you're ahead.
I mean, yes. True, because you have characters that can use level 1 X Factor and kill your entire team. Wolverine, I mean, comes to mind.
Yeah.
You can't bridge the skill gap. It's not possible. Any tool that you give both players, the better player will use in a better way.
Right. This is how I felt. I felt that, honestly, I did not think that X Factor really was overpowered. I think that for MvC3, the goal of the game is that the match ain't over until it's over. I think they looked at MvC2 and said there's too many times where people lame shit out. And, like, we want to get rid of the lame shit out. So, no matter how far of a lead you have, you can lose in one combo. And I know that's very controversial, but I understand the reason behind it. They want to make it where it just, until you get that last pixel, it ain't shit.
You ain't got 3 combos because you got 3 characters. It's like a way of stopping the combo and segmenting your life bar. So it works for a team game, but a mechanic like X Factor in a one-on-one game would not work.
No, of course, no. It's too stupid. Now with UMvC3, it's interesting because obviously they nerfed the damage, but now you could do it in the air, You know, or is it because
Well,
what you wish
they
for?
normalize the damage across all the characters. So some
And the speed
characters actually
bonuses.
have and the speed. So characters like Hulk now actually have speed increase. You know,
And
even though
Amy.
and Amy's got a speed
Emmy
increase.
didn't have speed before, and now she does, and she can slow you down and speed up, and that's scary. She's going to be a good anchor.
Yeah, but they made it now so that it's like, if I'm not mistaken, the duration differs between characters.
Yes, the duration
true.
is the only thing that differs between the
So
characters.
that's actually pretty weird. But you know what? You know what came to mind when you guys were talking about having X Factor in a single player game? You remember what is it called? Top in Garo?
Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of like that.
all Top did was give you a new special move and a small power bonus. In the arcade version, you could just place the top bar, but in the home version, you could change the size of the top bar.
Yeah, that was the
And
broken
if
thing.
you made
right?
it really small, you could do stupid damage, but that was not
Yeah.
tournament legal.
It was kind of funny, Ski, with you mentioning on X Factor helping people get even further ahead. The only thing I could think of is StarCraft 2, where they say, if you're ahead, get further ahead. That's the only thing that it really kind of relates to fighting games, especially with these type of mechanics where, yeah, it's great as a comeback, but at the same time, if you're ahead, you can get really far ahead with these type of comeback mechanics. So,
Yeah.
And you know, in going back to mechanics with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you know, a lot of people are really balking at paying for the gems. Well, you know, I mean, I think there's going to be at least 5 or 10 gems that will come with the game, but really, no one's going to buy all the gems. Well, a lot of the players will do is wait until someone comes up with a great combination of gems, and you just go buy those 3 gems if it's not already in the game, and then, you know, attach it to your character, etc. Although, you could also make an argument that with gems in the game has a depth that really we haven't really experienced before, because even if you have a gem combination that is lethal, if there's hundreds of gems in the game, then you're standing a chance that, yeah, this might be lethal, but you might run into someone who has a plus if you're playing using certain gems, you also sort of giving some of your strategy away, because now because if they know what gems you're using, they'll know what your basic outline is with the gem, and they may change up their gems to counter it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They might use gems to counter other gems. You know, I mean, that's another meta game that you might have to think about.
Yeah, one of the things about first about, you know, you are definitely telegraphing like a certain level of your strategy, specifically with each gem comes with like activation settings.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that in the end is just going to add like another layer of Yomi, where it's like, all right, well, my gem takes 2 successful throws to activate, so he's going to think that I'm going to tick throw them, so what I'm going to do is Dragon Punch him. So it doesn't really, I think that's going to basically equate out to 0, because while it will give you something to kind of like latch onto from the defensive standpoint or from the opposing standpoint, the other guy still will know what you know and be able to kind of switch it up. But
you're going so deep. So basically, you're saying, do you know what your opponent knows what you know?
right, exactly.
yeah, it's deception, man. That's basically what it is.
So basically, you could choose some gems that you really ain't going to use. You're just using it to lull your character into thinking that you're going to use a specific strategy that you won't use.
Yeah, after I said all that, I totally forgot what the other thing was.
Well, that's a great point. I never really thought of it, that you can use it as a false.
I mean, my only real issue with gems is literally like how much downtime are you going to have in between matches? I mean, button checks are bad enough. Adding gem checks on top of it just further stretches it out. You know, these games take, tournaments with these many people having to do button and gem checks and whatnot, and if it's not an efficient system, will really stretch the tournament out really far, and then add a lot of downtime between those matches, which, not only is not that great for people playing, but really sucks for people watching. Like, people on stream are going to wonder, what the hell am I standing here watching a bunch of dead air as they're checking gems? I mean, I thought the whole point goal of doing streams and any type of spectator stuff was to eliminate the downtime, and these games like Gems and Mortal Kombat's freaking button system, all it's doing is really stretching that downtime out and really kind of hurts the game, in my opinion.
Well, I remember what I was gonna say. Wait, it's one thing that people haven't really talked about a lot is like counter gems. Like, all right, it already is gonna take like 3 minutes to pick your gems out of like 200, but then what if you were like watching the other guy pick his gems and then he picks something and you're like, oh, nope, gotta go to my counter gem set, son. Hold up, where's my anti-throw gem? Because he's got the throw gem on.
Fuck that.
Yeah, you could see how
Gems are banned just based on that sentence right there.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that mean like just blind picks literally throughout the tournament, right? You're gonna have to, which I know would add even more time, right? You know, I can only think that. Well, this wouldn't be so much of an issue though if you only use the games included or use the gems included with the game. Then if it's only 5 or 10, it shouldn't add that much more time to it.
Yeah, but it's still additional time, and then you're gonna start thinking, okay, I just lost this match because this guy had this type of gems. Well, his gems are locked, so I'm going to go back and switch my gems and pick a new team, or switch my gems or just switch my gems alone, and then that takes up even more time in between matches because they'll have that right to be able to switch gems. It's like changing ultras and characters. I mean,
yeah, can winner switch gems? Oh man.
Well, that's a good point. And I guess the only thing I can say about that is, okay, so if you're picking gems, I mean, I guess the only answer to that is that that won't work. You can't force.
You're picking gems per character. If you're changing characters, you're gonna have to pick new gems.
Right.
You see how the time just stacks up on this, and the downtime and dead air that you've got, where you've got people that need to fill all this.
This isn't CBS 2. This is a totally different thing. This is all time menu.
I mean, right, because in CBS 2, at least you're watching the matches, right? Even though they're going long,
you're matches and things to watch. This
is watching
literally worthless dead air,
right?
And nobody wants to see this.
I mean, I think what will eventually happen. My feeling on it is that they're going to do one. They're going to allow. I can see them doing one or two things. First, I see them giving an option to disable gems, or something that they should do anyway. Just have a tournament mode where there's no gems.
Neither's happening. They're really dead set on these gems. Every interview where somebody says gems are maybe not a good idea for tournaments, can we please have something else? I said no, this is going to be we're tuning this for tournaments. We want this to be in there. I don't actually want to back down on it.
If they actually want to tune it for tournaments, then they can just put in a fucking 30-second timer for your gem select.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you don't pick it, then you just get random gem or something, or
Yeah, but if it's 5 gems at 30 seconds, that's what 6 seconds a gem.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better know your gems.
And if there's we're just thinking maybe there's 10 gems, but what if there's 40 gems? You got to scroll through 40 gems.
No, there's 200 gems.
Yeah.
Well, they're not all going to be. I mean, I'm just talking about what comes with the game. Well, the only thing I could think of, Keats, is that maybe they'll have it segregated by a particular type.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you still got 10, 15 per type. That you still got to scroll through all that. I mean,
hey man, what if you don't have to scroll? What if they're all on one screen? Because and what if they're denoted by distinct icons? Because
that's true. That's great.
That's true.
Tekken has 40 characters on screen, right? And you can scroll from one end to the next really quickly. And you if you multiply that by a factor of 5, or then you don't take 30 seconds to pick a character in Tekken. You take 5 or 6 seconds to pick a character in Tekken.
Yeah, if you know what you're looking for.
But you're also
you divide them into sub menus too. This is the power gems, these are the speed gems, and it should be easy to find what you want if you know what you want. But it's still at best case scenario, you're adding 60 seconds plus to every matchup, and that stacks up.
The only thing I can think of, Keith, is that you're going to have to put a cap on the amount of entries.
I already do that with every single tournament.
Right. Well, I mean, like you might have to put an extraordinarily low cap. Well, here's the good thing is that how many we got. What's the first major that can conceivably have Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
I think it might be mine.
Damn.
There are a couple other big tournaments, but we'll have to see how it turns out.
Final round.
But
before.
I don't mean to get off subject, but
what, February?
No, final round's in March, but I think it's the week before it releases.
Yeah,
we gotta pick arcade mode, man. Look, that'll do it, cause there'll be a timer on that anyway. And like you just enforce arcade mode. It's 30 seconds.
But
30
there is
seconds,
no arcade mode.
Oh my god, it's a console game. There is no arcade mode. Ah! I don't know. I think that like if there's a mode with gem timer on it, like I mean a character select timer on it, then that'll solve it. Like you just have to pick.
We are assuming that this team will actually think of things like this. But this is the same team that thought Yin and Yang were a good idea in AE. So I don't know, man.
No, I mean I don't. I mean we're talking about. Well, here's the thing though is that I'm glad. I mean, Keats, I'm glad you wrote that article because at least it's safe to be assumed that it's being talked about. So I'm sure that while they're implementing this, they're taking that into concept that. Well, we need to make it where it's really, really easy if the opponent knows what they're picking, easy for them to select their gems quickly, So we'll just have to wait until we see it comes out.
I just interrupt real quick to clear it up. Street Fighter Cross Tekken releases March 6th. Final round 15 is March 2nd to 4th. So final round will not have Cross Tekken.
You know what? And here's the thing.
That is fucking my god.
No. Let me tell you something. That's bullshit.
They missed it by like the Tuesday.
They missed it by 2 days.
It's bullshit though because you know why? It's because the last couple of years. This has happened the final round where it happens right before a major Street Fighter / Capcom fighting release.
That's Capcom's release window, man. That's just how it is.
No, I'm just saying though. But it looks like that final round never gets any love from that. I mean,
final round's either going to be the first or the last tournament for a lot of these games.
I mean, what I'm saying though is that I would like to see Capcom support final round.
That's never going to happen.
That's never going to happen.
Support individual tournaments that aren't Evo.
Yeah, Capcom.
I mean, they've done fight clubs, etc. I mean, because it is so. I mean, they're bringing games to SCR and NCR. I mean, why can't they bring?
They're in California already. They just drive over.
I'm saying though, is it so hard to get a gold copy of the game that's already been printed by the time that final round comes around? Hey,
that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Though. I'm not saying they need to come out and bring out and put money in the pot. I'm just saying this.
Yeah. Sending Larry like 8 copies of the game to use for the tournament and then give away after, I think that's a pretty reasonable and would be a very cool thing. But Larry can't count on that.
No,
and
I mean,
if Capcom wants to make that arrangement, it's not going to be till last minute, so he can't promote it, which means he can't get people to come to his event for it, which completely defeats the purpose.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, maybe we can talk about this as final round comes closer, but. I mean, especially since it's Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I know that this is a Street Fighter game mostly, but I mean, it is Tekken Nation. I mean, final round is Tekken Nation. So I mean, this would be out of all their tournaments. I mean, this should be one of the ones that Street Fighter Cross Tekken should.
When you run a big tournament, you want people to come, and when
Capcom doesn't care about black people.
Right, Capcom doesn't care about black people, and when you get a sponsor in too late. Then you can't make the announcement early enough to get people to make plans to come. Like last year, I wanted to have a really nice Tekken tournament at UFGT 7, and I put it on the same bonus structure as every other game that I had, so all the Tekken players had to do was show up. But registration was really low, so I contacted whoever I could to try and get some extra prizes for the pot, and I got in touch with Hori, and they wanted to do it. And about a month before the tournament, I announced that we would have extra prizes from Hori for the Tekken tournament, and it didn't help at all. We didn't get a single extra Tekken entry from that because it was too late.
Well, it's probably not realistic to expect that he can do a tournament on it, but an exhibition would be nice.
He could do a tournament, but it'd be people who are already going to attend who are going to join it. Yeah. So now it's extra work for Larry and his team without any extra venue fees in to help him shoulder the weight of that burden. That's the problem.
Point taken. I'm sad.
Don't be sad.
Captain
If I were Larry, I would feel lucky not to have Street Fighter Cross Tekken out in time with all this shit going on, because now he doesn't have to make a decision.
Like, if you actually played the game, like, it's kind of not really that fun to play. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I don't want to be a guy who has to make the decision about gems. I don't want to do that. I'd rather follow someone else's lead and not have everyone be mad at me.
Unfortunately, Keats, I think you're going to be the guy that sets the precedence.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
There's nobody having a tournament in April.
Power-ups in April, but we don't know how big that's going to be.
No.
I mean, if anything, you can just get Wizard to make a decision, and that way it wouldn't be yours.
Yeah,
That'll actually already be the announced Street Fighter Cross Tekken tournament.
Right.
Presumably for Evo. They could, just announce it. Right. They might not actually announce it
it's
yet.
on me again.
Yeah.
Well, they can announce the game, but they may not announce the particulars of
details. Yeah, they could do that. They very well. They've done that.
By the end of May, they'll have details.
Right, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But you got to announce yours before that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know. I'm not.
Yeah, you just can't have C Evo rule for
Larry's position quite a bit.
Well, you know what, Keats? You've been. It's kind of funny though, because you're fighting two battles. One, you got to fight this new game with this new system mechanic, the new gyms. Secondly, you set the bar so high on running such an efficient tournament. You're finishing early last year, and all it is now. You got your own reputation to live up to.
Well, yeah, I watch like Guard Crush and like Wednesday Night Fights and stuff. See how that goes.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at various weeklies to see what they're doing with Cross Tekken and how it's behaving. I mean, believe me, I'm tight with that circle of tournament organizers, and I'll be asking a lot of questions and getting a lot of feedback before I decide what I'm going to do with my event.
Well, you know what? Hey, you know what? I applaud you, Keats, for actually saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do Street Fighter Cross Tekken come hell or high water,
Yeah, I'm running it no matter what. I think I've been one of the most vocal supporters of new games in general. Just doesn't matter what it is. If it's a new fighting game, I support it. And I'm going to try to support Street Fighter Cross Tekken despite my negative feelings.
So will we see KOF 13 at UFGT then?
I already announced the game list, man. It's not my fault you're too lazy to look it up.
Oh man, now you got to work.
Hey, let me ask you, Keith. What's the 5 games that are going to be on Evo next year?
My guesses are version 2012, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Soul Calibur 5,
KOF.
Skullgirls.
That ain't happening.
That's my wild card. And I think KOF 13 will make the cut.
Wow, your list is very similar to mine.
And I do not think that right now Street Fighter Cross Tekken will make the cut. But if it does, I think it'll be the 6th game, and I think they'll just go back to 6 games. I think they can get enough equipment now to do that.
Especially because Skullgirls is going to have like 99 people.
Skullgirls won't be big. It'll be easy to run. They could run that on probably 4 stations. And
my issue, though, is they go to 6 games. Because, the thing that I talked to Tom and Tony about this, is that Evo is getting to the point where can it really be accomplished in 3 days, Yeah,
well, you can solve time problems with more equipment and more staff.
At least for one more year, definitely.
Yeah.
So, Caesar's Palace, is that any bigger or same size or smaller or?
Not sure what the square footage is. I think there was more than enough room last year.
Yeah, like the size isn't an issue. It's like the equipment and staff, like Adam said. But if Street Fighter Cross Tekken isn't going to be a main game with another 1,000 people or 1,500 people or something, then it's not going to be an issue yet.
Yeah, what if Street Fighter Cross Tekken gets half the number of entries of Street Fighter 4? It won't be a huge issue if that's the case. The thing I worry about with a game like that has such familiar mechanics is that even if the community of top players abandons the game, they're like, we're not going to play this. Then these lower level players are going to be like, oh, I can be the champ. I'm going to play. And then Justin and his buddies are going to be like, nah, you're not going to be the champ.
So then they go back to playing the game, and then of course everybody follows that, and then it's
definitely possible.
Yeah, because I'm planning on winning Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
if
What
the
if
pod is
Capcom
big,
donates? Yeah, I mean,
if the pod
that's
is big enough, top players are going to show up. I mean, that's just how it is.
if Capcom puts $10,000 at Street Fighter Cross Tekken, fuck it, we got a game.
Right.
We got us a
Damn
real
it.
match. Although they're
I
not.
just don't want.
Because
I
they're
want
tight
to avoid being the Smash community. I don't want to play the game. Yeah, I don't want to pigeonhole a game into being Street Fighter 4 with Tekken characters because we don't like the gems. I really feel like if we don't like the gems, walking away from the game is the mature decision.
We don't do that in this community, Keats. If it's a new game, play it. We play it and we fucking like it. Even if we don't like it, we shut the fuck up and play it. Or sometimes we cry about it and play it. But we play it. That's what we do.
Was
Oh yeah,
Capcom
to be
Jam
clear,
on that?
I already capped my Street Fighter Cross Tekken tournament at half of what I capped Ultimate Marvel and version 2012 at UFGT, so I'm already prepared for the time investment.
Fighting Jam, I think, would have been at EVO, but I think it came out in, I want to say October. So it had plenty of time to, die before EVO. So EVO
I wasn't sure, so...
It was at all the tournaments leading up to EVO, but I don't think it was at EVO that year.
Because it was at Midwest Championships, I remember that much.
Well, it was at all those tournaments because they had those SBO qualifiers.
Oh yeah.
So they had it at all those tournaments, but I don't think it was at EVO. But that's the only game where we didn't really play it and like it. But that game came out in October. So I think that's I think that's the thing that separated it from other games.
Yeah.
You know the thing about Street Fighter.
I have to log off, guys. So it was great talking to all of you, and have a nice night.
You too.
Take care, Keats.
Now, one thing about Street Fighter Cross Tekken that I never really thought of is, did you notice that some of the requests for certain characters, happen to show up in Street Fighter Cross Tekken and not in Arcade Edition? Because I feel like that Capcom, they probably thought of this. What if everybody just want to play Street Fighter 4 instead? Okay, we'll just put Rolento and Korean and all the other characters that was requested for Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, I think Elena is going to be in it.
Yeah, so it's
people,
if you want to play your favorite character that you've been dreaming about, you want to play Street Fighter Cross Tekken, because hell is going to be in the Arcade Edition. So I felt like that they kind of yeah.
Well, really, the only trump card that Capcom has for Street Fighter characters now are basically, the Final Fight characters and the Third Strike characters that weren't in AE. So I don't know.
Well, you know what? But you know what? In the same breath, though, Arcade Edition has a really good representation of the Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2 and 3 characters. No roster will ever be perfect, but I feel like there's a good representation of. There's going to be something in there for everybody to play.
No Rolento.
I don't know. They can.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna just add 2 characters or 4 characters to AE whenever the shit gets stale.
Yeah, they can. You know what? They can keep on doing. And that's funny though, because on one hand, I know that people will probably flip their lid if they announce another DLC for Arcade Edition for $39.99.
You know it's gonna happen.
But it's gonna feature 4 to 8 characters, and then everybody's complaining about it and putting their pre-order in.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely have that ability, but they have said that they have another project in mind that they're working on. Could be that Darkstalkers or something like that. So I don't know. They've got a couple ways that they could go after this, so that Street Fighter 4 is gonna be the competitive one. I don't really think, and I mean that's I'm using the term loosely, but I think that's the game that they're all right, well, we got Daigo playing this, we got Justin, we got the eyes on it in that way, so, that's cool. We need to just, set this in place, and then, what are we gonna do from here on out? I don't think they'll fuck with it unless they feel like they have to.
Yeah, it almost seems like Street Fighter Cross Tekken is more like a side project, or like one of Ono's pet fan games where him and his buddy Hirata can laugh it up and talk about all sorts of wacky things to put in their games, and then we'll probably see almost the same amount of wackiness in Tekken X Street Fighter, but you never know. So
And that's to be expected, though, because this is the only time that you're able to do something like that. Because, in Street Fighter, people I just want a pure Street Fighter game. Okay, then play Arcade Edition. I'm like, but meanwhile, when you do a brand new series, then this is the chance you can just start doing shit that makes no sense. This is the. So I feel
I like some of the wackiness in the game. Like, I think the animation is. People think the animation sucks. A lot of people do. I think it's just kind of fun to look at. Like, not everything has to be super serious and.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedy in this game, which makes sense though, because Tekken. I did not know until recently that Tekken has a lot of comedy in it too.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it seriously looks like Ono's game. Like, you look at Ono and you listen to him talk and how he acts, and you look at Street Fighter X Tekken. It looks like a game that Ono would make. That's perfectly good, fine. I just don't like the gem system. I don't like it at all, but.
Well, we need to see it implemented first.
I'm not going to take it seriously. I mean, I don't think I think that's pretty much how it's going to be. Is like everybody who wants money, that could get money for this, will play it, but not take it seriously at all. So, it'll be like how Justin and Marn played TVC. They didn't take it seriously at all. They just kind of played it because they could.
But here the thing is, well, I'm not going to say I like or dislike the gem system because we haven't seen it implemented yet. It's kind of hard to pass judgment on a concept that we don't even see implemented. It could be implemented horribly, or it can be implemented halfway decent, and it might be the next super meter.
I'm just not a fan of how long it takes to set up gems and stuff like that. Just adding any extra time, and then on top of it, I'm not a fan of changing gameplay rules via microtransactions with DLC and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just something that bugs me personally.
And I understand that. I mean, I understand there's a lot of people who think, well, here's Capcom trying to, here's Capcom trying to make money off of, everyone, trying to get into their pockets, but they're a for-profit company. What do you expect? I mean, this ain't, this shit ain't free.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that it's ignorant that fighting game fans don't take it into account that this is also a business, and it's a business first. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending the gem thing. I mean, it could be horrible, but at the same time though, a bankrupt Capcom does little good for anybody. I don't want, and I made this clear, I don't want to go back to how it was prior to Street Fighter 4.
Cash rules everything around me. Gems get the money. Dollar bill, y'all.
Good shit, Steve.
I don't know, man. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, how about if the Evo this year was just UMvC3 and CVS2 and like ST? I don't even like ST. I just want to play Marvel and CVS. But
so
I can't
be like,
let's
have Evo the Classic Series or something like that.
Can't we have old folk Evo just once?
Like Evo Classic? No, man, because
man.
It's it's all about the dollar bill.
There's a spiritual successor.
1,600 people playing ST. That's just not going to happen.
But it's kind of hard though, because there's a spiritual successor in every one of those games, and so instead of Ultra Mortal Kombat 3, you got MK9, which is largely reminds me of Ultra Mortal Kombat 3. Then you got ST. Well, Arcade Edition is really the ST right now. So I mean, it's CVS 2. Well, we'll see what Street Fighter Cross Tekken will be like.
Blasphemer! You blasphemer! Blasphemy!
I mean, you know what? Like I said, I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. I think that Street Fighter Cross Tekken will either be the worst piece of shit ever came out, or it's going to be the hypest piece of shit that ever came out. One or the other. I don't see it being middle. I think either it's going to go rise to the top, or it's going to sink without a trace.
Yeah.
I buy it, right?
Honestly, I think it's going to sell. I think it's going to sell I think it's going to sell great. I think that. But by the way, I mean, this is a small announcement, but it looked like that Street Fighter Cross Tekken is also coming to PC.
Yeah.
Talking about with the Origins thing? Are you talking about with the Origins thing, or is that official now?
Yeah, it was in
the Street Fighter Cross Tekken is coming to PC. They announced that at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, see, I don't really, I don't think that the game is like good or bad or anything like that. Like I definitely think that we need to play the game a certain amount before we can like make that call on it.
Yeah,
but it's what the problem is what we've been talking about all this time, the implementation of the gems. Capcom is not, at least at this point in development, they're not thinking about like how are we gonna make this runnable for like tournaments. Like Capcom doesn't have a fucking esports department. Blizzard does, like Riot does, like those companies will think about that kind of thing at least. But Capcom, they're not gonna consider that as one of their like base level goals. Their base level is always just like, how are we gonna sell this? What's gonna sell this? How are we gonna get this money? And then you're like, oh, well, there are tournaments that are being run, and they'll, maybe they'll like cooperate with the tournament. But I think that it's up to us to decide like how the tournament's gonna be run, and like that's what the issue is, because the game could end up to be fun in whatever way that we decide to play it, but is that going to be actually viable? You know what I mean?
I think you hit it on the head there, because my question is, let's say that the gem selection system isn't an issue. Let's say they somehow Capcom comes with a brilliant menu where selecting gems is not a really big issue. My question is, will the community play with the gems? And I'm like, when we get the game, are we going to just automatically choose no gems? Because I guess you can't choose no gems.
We will play with gems if there are going to be tournaments with gems.
Okay, so that means that basically what could happen is that the gems that come with the game, that might be the gems so if anything, Capcom may want to focus on what gems come with the games and making sure that there will be a nice variety, because it might be that the default number of gems that come with the game, those are going to be the gems that people are going to use, because those are going to be the only ones that are going to be tournament legal.
I hope it's just 5. That will solve everything.
Yeah.
5, motherfucker. 5 on both characters, the same 5. Shut it.
$5 foot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If there's 5, it's good. We're good.
Yeah, but realistically, that's just not happening. But I'm getting tired of talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, because I just get frustrated every time I think about it. I'm just like, God damn it.
Well, which is interesting though, because we haven't seen. I found it odd that they did not show an updated build of the game at New York Comic Con, and which makes me believe that there's something going on with the game, because they haven't. I mean, they announced Cody and Guy months ago. We still haven't seen either of them. We haven't seen any of anybody in the with the.
Those guys were teased though, right? Cody and Guy, they weren't officially announced, right?
No. I mean, they weren't officially announced. They showed
up at the end of the Hugo and Poison trailer,
right?
Where they both walk in and do their badass poses and say that we're late to the fight and things like that. So. So maybe there's something going on there. Okay, so moving off of it. All right, so UMvC3, we are T-minus 14 days away. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why, but the characters they put in there. Well, I know why, because we already talked about this in previous shows, where I named off 6 or 7 characters, and just about every last one of them ended up in this game. So. I'm super.
You work for Capcom. You undercover something.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? That's the thing, though. I'm not gonna. I mean, we talked about this before, but how am I gonna really criticize Capcom for? UMvC3 comes out. It's $40. It's 12 new characters.
Exactly. But they charge $5 a character.
Come on, man. And they all look good. They all look good. None of them really look ass. I mean, they all look good and all look to add to the game, to the depth of the game, and to the funness of the game. Because, as I always say, the game is supposed to entertain me, not for me to entertain it. I can't fault Capcom for releasing 12 characters with the bulk of them are are fan requests. I can't do that. Come on. Need to
I'm cool with that.
Netcode in the motherfucker though.
I don't know, like, just, all I know is that when I was at Comic-Con, I missed, like, 3/4 of the panels that I wanted to go see, because I was too busy playing Marvel. Like, just playing with Ghost Rider and Firebrand, and I basically played with Ghost Rider, Firebrand, and Hawkeye. I didn't play much of Strider, because I suck with Strider. But those 3 characters are just so ridiculously fun and so unique, and it's a totally different play style from what it is. And that game feels different. Like, everything about it just does not feel like regular Marvel. Like, it feels new and refreshing, and I can't really say much more good about it. Like, I can't really describe why it's so different, but when you play it and you get a bunch of rounds in, you realize that it just feels different, and just how things react, and it just feels a lot more natural. Like, Vanilla felt very unfinished to a degree. This feels like the completed product, in my opinion.
And you know what? But you know, and you know what? I know a lot of people are mad. They say, you know, screw Capcom for releasing an unfinished blah 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 blah. But you know what? Had they not done that, then they wouldn't have known what were the issues with the game, so they can improve upon it. Because you can't account for all of that. No matter how good of beta testers you have, no matter how many top players you bring in, some stuff you just won't know. So, I mean, some stuff you just can't account for. And so, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I understand what people are saying about spending money. I mean, but you know what? In this day and age where you can pay $100 a month for your cell phone bill, I mean, to me, it's par for the course. I mean, I don't really feel that it's that big of an issue. And
I just look at the $5 a character, and you're getting $60 worth of characters for $40 plus everything else on top of it.
Yeah.
So,
and the hero and mode, you know, the hero mode and all of that, it looks like a really fun. I cannot wait. It will be interesting to see for the first few tournaments, will people stick with what they know, or will they switch? You know, I'm interested in seeing if in a tournament, because you know, on a tournament you want to play with what you know, because that feels like they give you the best chance of winning. But with some of these characters looks very strong, some of the new characters looking very strong, it'd be interesting to see what people will play with on the first.
Well, I think people have already started to make the switch. Like, you've seen Justin playing Storm in the last couple of tournaments, because Storm is going to be stronger in Ultimate. You know, these guys are just starting to get prepared, you know, to get a feel for these characters, so when Ultimate comes out, they're going to be able to play them. I mean, I'm starting to play different characters. I'm playing Doom again to try and get Doom ready for Ultimate, because I know Doom will be really strong. I already played Dormammu, so that's good to go. But you know, it's really actually extended the life of vanilla Marvel for me, because now I'm experimenting with a bunch of characters that I originally abandoned because they didn't feel like they played to my playstyle at the time. But now that they're getting changes, well, here I am replaying these characters to try and get a feel for them again, because I know they're going to be different and much better aligned with what I like to play and my style of play. So
I think Justin's just playing Storm because like he figured out that she kills some characters, like DHC with her is good and stuff. I'm not playing Marvel 3 like at all, because I'm like, well, I want to learn new characters, but fucking new games coming out in 2 weeks. Like, what would be the point? Why would I do that when I could? I may as well just wait. So I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna go.
Well, I mean,
watch StarCraft.
Yeah, but you could play some characters that you wanna learn, at least learn the basics, because the real basic fundamental stuff is not going to change between characters. You know, it's the fine details in the execution.
Yeah, but that's like nothing that I need to learn. It's like, oh, well, I did like trial mode with all the characters, and nothing is that complex or intricate, and everything that is intricate is subject to change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't feel like I particularly need to go in training mode to figure out much besides, like, the intricacies, and that's the stuff that, you know, I might
understand.
get swept out from under me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm just trying to learn Doom's Loop, so because I know Doom's Loop will be a little easier in Ultimate because he's faster and he can just hit jumping S instead and still be able to relaunch and stuff like that. So
good thing that's easier. Fucking that makes sense. No,
I am looking forward. I'm looking forward to the game because really, I mean, the character selection is, it's really interesting. I think that UMvC3 will be forever remembered as a game that has 50 plus characters that were the vast majority are viable, and I think that that's something that's really nice. I think that this game will have. I mean, it's not. They're going to eventually update the game again. It's just how it is. That's the business. But this game could conceivably. I mean, you can be played for years and not know all that comes out in this game, because I feel like that there's way more depth for the characters, and there's so much different play styles and that you can implement, and I feel like that this game will have both zoning and rush down. I mean, I really look forward to it. Like I said, my two characters, I mean, it's going to be Super Scroll and Nova, and then I got to figure out, and then maybe, what the hell, Raccoon.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many characters and so many different styles, and I don't give a shit what Keats thinks. I think Phoenix Wright is going to be really strong, and the Raccoon already looks really strong. So,
well, it's funny you mention that, because I actually think that Phoenix Wright is. I don't know, man. Like, you get him in
turnabout mode, and he's like the best character in the game. So
yeah, I think that he's going to be used heavily, and I'll tell you what they'll do. They're going to get all the evidence. Use objection, get objection, switch him out, leave him last. Leave him, and then have the objection with level 3 X Factor.
That's what I'm going to do.
I mean and then he's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
I've already figured it out. Like I was going to play Phoenix Wright, Doctor Strange, and the Raccoon. That way you can call Phoenix, call Maya Shield, throw out the Eye of Agamotto. The eye sticks around, so if someone jumps, you can call the log trap assist and have the pendulum swing and cover himself while he's getting evidence, and then you just switch him out. Either switch his modes or just tag him out. That's how I'm gonna play him. That's what I've been thinking about doing. So I don't think he's nearly as bad as some people say.
I don't think he's gonna be bad at all. I think that when he has objection, you see how much damage he does in his combos with objection, and it's obscene, and that's without X Factor.
Yeah.
With X Factor, he conceivably can kill you in one combo. He should be able to anyway.
I believe the jumping finger hits overhead because it's a jumping move, obviously. So if you've got a high-low unblockable setup, there's really nothing you can do other than try and run away as best you can to get away from that character. I mean, really, there really is nothing. Like,
push block.
You could push block if you press something. If the Phoenix player presses something, but you're always going to have to be afraid of that finger coming out at any given time to have to be ready to push block that. So, I don't know. I don't think he is nearly as bad as some people say.
Dude, that character's not good. Guys are crazy. I'm sorry. He's going to be mid-tier at best. Low mid. You're going to have a team specifically formulated around him just to be competitive.
And then Justin picks Phoenix, and we all sound like Phoenix. Well, except for me, because I was backing Phoenix to begin with. So,
I mean, Justin picked him, and then he did all right with him. Well, fucking hell, Justin, wherever the hell he wants, and do fairly well with him. But with like we were saying about She-Hulk, I'm like, all right, well, Justin and Combo Fiend and Ricky and Flo, they pick her and they do pretty well with it. But, like,
at the same time, we did, like, a lot of people, I don't know about you specifically, said that Phoenix was going to be ass and Wolverine was going to be ass, and then they turned around.
Oh no, dude! It was so obvious that Phoenix was going to be too good because she has no health and fucking resurrection. Like, well, we had to give her no health. Like, do you think she just had no health because she was going to be a shitty character? Like, well, we just gave her absolutely no health so she could die instantly. No. We gave her no health because she's obviously too powerful. Like, that was that. And, like, Wolverine, I don't know, didn't know too much about him because I really didn't play him too much.
I didn't know about the dive kick, and, you know, that was...
Yeah, as soon as I heard that I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I heard that the dive kick wasn't overhead, I was just like, alright, Wolverine's probably going to suck. And then he turned around and ended up being, like, the biggest beast on Earth, you know, so...
I just thought the teleport move that he had was going to be good, and it was.
And, you know, and really the fact that Phoenix had low health really, you know, it really kind of actually aided it because, I mean, it just means it didn't take her long before you become Dark Phoenix. So you
yeah,
can kill,
exactly.
You know, so, I mean, it was like, yeah, but, I mean, gosh, though.
I honestly thought that zoning and runaway play was going to be a lot more predominant in Marvel 3, considering they had characters like Arthur and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I thought that they were going to learn from their mistakes and try and keep Rushdown just as keep zoning and runaway just as viable as Rushdown. And they obviously didn't do that because Rushdown fucking kills everything in Marvel 3. So. But it's obvious that now in Ultimate they've made a conscious decision to work on their zoning and keep away characters and really buff that aspect and then tone down some of the rushdown abilities. That maybe we'll see something different now. But you know, that's why I thought Phoenix was gonna be garbage, because I thought that she was just gonna get zoned to shit, but it never happened, obviously.
Well, plus, you know, I mean, how much zoning works when you have a teleport that has like literally no recovery.
Yeah, exactly. So.
You know, I mean, it's like, and you know, I you know what? It's stupid, it's broken, but I love it when like someone kills opponent with Dark Phoenix and then the other incoming character. You like you just sitting there watching the screen. Like what?
Well, yeah, like
it's like watching a pinball, right?
Like Justin said it best. Like the game is extremely entertaining. It's extremely fun, but when you're playing it, it is the most stressful experience you ever have. You know,
it's great. I mean, you're right, man, because you know what? I guess that's what UMvC3's mark is going to be. Is that you know UMvC2? It seemed like that in the game. Maybe just because the game has been out for so long, but you know the bullshit in it was just accepted. You know, because to me, Sentinel is bullshit. You know, but it was
that game is founded on bullshit. There was no quality assurance whatsoever. They just threw everything together so they had a game before their license ran out, and everybody ended up loving it. So, but continue. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was like, but you know, I never got the sense that people got stressful playing Marvel 2, but Marvel 3, I definitely see people sweating, and you know, I can see. The few tournaments that actually had the camera on the player when certain things are happening is funny as hell. When Dark Phoenix comes in or someone turns to Dark Phoenix and you see somebody you see their head pop back a little bit and go, oh fuck, man, why?
There's nothing. I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing more stressful when I bust out this amazingly awesome Tron combo and I get Wolverine down to the last magic pixel, and it just wasn't enough. Then the son of a bitch throws me or touches me, and I'm gone. It's the most frustrating experience on Earth. It's just like, why, God, why? And it's not even like a cool combo either. It's like the most basic bullshit on Earth, and you're just sitting there swearing up a storm in your head.
I don't have a problem with the combos or anything like that. It's just that, the input lag that I feel is there, combined with the like teleports and the left rights, make it so you're like, oh well, I got hit and I wasn't actually doing anything about. Like I couldn't do anything about it. Like I'm pretty sure I saw that. Pretty sure I blocked and I got hit, or like I'm pretty sure I held up and I was able to jump. There's like a few like nagging things about the actual system too, like one frame grabs and like no throw invulnerability at the startup and like little things like that. But like those things that you get past, but you just get hit by fucking Berserker Slash and you're like, great, like there was absolutely nothing to like be able to see that, and if I did see it, like I still wasn't able to react in time. Like when you're fighting Wolverine, you have to be like, alright, well now I'm full screen, so if I walk forward like a little bit, then I have to block backwards. If I walk forward and block backwards, and he just dashes up to me and hits me, then I'm dead. Like, I don't care that he has fucking easy combos and shit like that, because combos are just gonna be doable, you know, it's not gonna be about the difficulty. Like, there's always gonna be somebody that could do the hardest combo anyway. Well, it's the fact that, like, you just get hit by shit.
Allow me to reiterate on this one, is when you have characters like that have super easy combos, and then you have really scrubby guys that feel themselves like they're top players because they can do easy shit combos. Anyways, but yeah, like that's the only thing that really irks me. Is just that it's the outside thing is where people feel themselves with that. But continue what you're saying.
I mean, UMvC3 had a team scrub too, and it was a pretty decent team. And you know, like Thrax is like a pretty decent team, and a really good team, probably the best team, and it didn't really have the most complicated combos. Like you could do some, but you didn't really have to. Mm-hmm. Especially if you still had all three of your characters. You know, all you had to do was like land a fast tri-dash, and like you would be able to kill a character and then guard break the next character. But you could at least block the tri-dash, like
yeah, exactly.
But like the stupid high-low transitions in Marvel 3 that go quickly. There's the left-rights that are unblockable. Like I don't care about real unblockables in the game. That's fine. I don't care about combos that are easy and kill you. Yeah. That's fine.
I don't
shit you just can't actually realistically, feasibly escape.
Yeah. Or like fucking air grab. Like air grab ranges are slightly different for characters. Like Wolverine's got a further air grab, or Annie's got a further air grab than say like a Hulk or something like that. Like it becomes very difficult, and then you got to sit there and you go in the air and you go, okay, I'm going to grab this guy, and then he grabs you first, and you're not teching it at all. Or if you're trying to hit him with fierce because you think you're far enough away, he ends up grabbing you. Or if you know that he's going to grab you and you sit there and you try to mash, it ends up becoming where you're trying to mash the tech out as fast as you can, and you still get beat out. I mean, it's like a lot of that just gets really frustrating.
The one thing that I thought that was really crazy was for Wolverine. I don't play UMvC3, so feel free to correct me. But the one thing that will probably infuriate me is that Berserker Slash was invincible. And
it's totally invincible. Like, you can see
it
coming from a mile away, and you go, I want to punish this. But you know what? Wolverine says, no, fuck you, you're getting hit with this. And there's nothing you can do. Like, literally nothing you can do but guess to block or try to jump. But, hey, there's pre-jump frames on pretty much every character, so guess what? You're going to have to guess. It's a built-in 50-50. It's free pressure for Wolverine. I can't fucking stand it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing to a lesser extent for Zero, who air dashes and then hits jumping H and has an ambiguous cross-up. It's a free pressure 50-50. I cannot stand it. Like it's absolutely retarded that you can just sit there with one button and hit. Just air dash forward and hit with one button, and you got yourself a built-in 50-50 with no effort whatsoever. You don't work for any of it at all, and it really negates some of the fun that's actually in the game, because the game is super fun. It's just playing against those characters makes the game not fun at all.
Well, in a couple of weeks we'll be We'll see how things shake out.
When I was at Comic-Con and I played, like I said, I played Firebrand, Hawkeye, Ghost Rider. Every Wolverine I saw, everything they did. If they tried to dive kick, eat chain. If they tried to berserker slash, eat chain. It was the most fulfilling. Like, I was smiling ear to ear. It was the most fulfilling experience I ever had in my life. Just because that little bastard could not get within 20 feet of the chain at all and hit every single time. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah, when I last saw Ghost Rider, the first thing that popped out of my mouth is, "Hey, Simon Belmont called. He wants his freaking whip back."
He's like if they properly designed Omega Red, that's what he would be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy that like the way that you have to fight, being not able to block stuff, is just like hitting them before like they, get a chance to make you eat the unblockable shit. Like, I would be happier with a game where I could block and call assist and like be comfortable with my defense. Because like, if you committed to your block in Marvel 2, then your assist was gonna come out, and if you committed to the block and you got hit, then you might get happy birthday. But like, that is not actually the case in this game. Like,
yeah, you sit there and eat a block string, and the assist does not come out to save you at all, and then you end up getting hit with unblockable or some other bullshit. It's just frustrating.
So let me ask the question. So is it that block stun is a lot longer in Marvel 3?
No, it's that assists suck dick in Marvel 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the only good assists that they had, they nerfed in Ultimate, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, because why would you play with Hagar now, right?
Yeah, like...
you can still play Hagar. They nerfed Tron. The best assist is Lele Gold Armor.
Yeah, well, I honestly think that now it's probably going to be like I have Agamotto will probably be the best assist, or one of Doom's assists, because Doom's got 3 really good assists. Nobody uses Rocks. Rocks is still amazing, and Hidden Missiles is still amazing, and Plasma Beam is really awesome. Like, all this stuff is, yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Like, I'm glad that assists aren't like, hey, well, let's just mash these out as fast as possible because they're fully invincible and whatnot, but at the same time, come on, you gotta give us something here. Give us a little bit of invincibility.
Don't be a
something.
freaking bone here.
Tron losing her invincibility was total bullshit. Like, that assist is not that fucking good. It's just very convenient as a get off me assist, basically. Because the hitbox on that thing is not that great. You could still jump over it. It only hits in one direction. The actual hitbox is not that huge. I mean, it's fairly fast and it's fully invincible. Whatever. Hagar's is way bigger, and he's still got his invincibility on it, so...
He still has his invincibility.
Fully invincible. That shit is only invincible till, like, the first hit, if anything.
Yeah.
And I think that they just said invincibility because, like, it's an expedient. Because you can hit her, and at best, you'll trade for her. Like, she'll die to, like, beams and shit, I don't think that she can come out and interrupt your beam. Oh, no. I think she just had, like, a hitbox that was effectively unhittable. Because you could, like, if you were sliding, you could hit her before the flames came out.
Right.
I don't know why they said that. I don't know. I think that's the wrong thing for them to say. I think that this is kind of, like, shows that they're actually, like, listening to people, but at the same time, they're not, like, being completely straightforward.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I've heard that there might be a day 1 or day 0 patch anyway. So, all this shit could be null and void depending on what entails with the patch. So, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Yo, guys, I'm gonna dip.
All right, man. Take care.
Yup. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Keith, for coming on.
Yep. Check y'all later. Peace.
Take it easy, my friend. Alright, folks, I'm about to call it quits here. We've been on here for about 2 hours now, and I think we covered a lot of ground, and thank you for everybody.
You gotta talk about the Rams,
Yeah, well, okay, that can be summed up in about 3 minutes. You know what? Hey, good stuff with the Rams. You know, I like the fact that the players took responsibility and actually, because my thing about the Rams though is that if they can beat the Saints, to me they should win out the rest of the schedule because they don't play nobody good for the rest of the year. All right, so
well, all they gotta do is win like 6 games, and they've won the NFC West. So.
Well, that really depends on the 49ers like stinking it up because right now they're sitting like at 6-1.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they really have to. It had to be a which is not beyond theory. We have seen the 49ers collapse in mid-season before, so it's not entirely improbable, but I highly doubt it. So, 49ers got the. I can't believe you're saying this like week 7, but they really they got the division on lock, and but it was nice to see that the Rams. I was very impressed with their defense. The tackling was solid. And Laurinaitis was all over the place. He must have been looking at some old Urlacher videos on how to play linebacker, how you play the linebacker spot. And then Robert Quinn, our rookie, really did a great job and got a couple of sacks. Also got the block punt, on special teams. So, and then the Rams' offense actually was pretty decent, despite that Bradford was not playing. So good stuff. I just hope they can keep it up. Sad news though that Tony La Russa is retired as the manager of the Cardinals.
So now he can't be giving Albert Pujols any more steroids. I gotcha.
Okay, what are you talking about, man?
That dude is.
Mark
Look at that guy. Yeah, Mark McGuire. Then Albert.
Mark
Pujols.
McGuire. Come on, man. They play the game. They know. Come on, man. That stuff is just all fool. That's all.
Dude, Albert Pujols is like pushing 40, and yet his arms look like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don't give me that bullshit that he's not on something.
You just jealous of his body.
Hey man, whatever. He's not gonna be playing for the fucking Cardinals anymore, anyways.
We'll see. I say it's
he's gonna
50-50
stay,
at this
and then
point.
Cubs are gonna get Prince Fielder, I think.
Prince Fielder? That'd be interesting.
I think he's gonna get the Cubs.
Alright, 34. That's still pushing it already. When you got guys that are 18, 19 in the game playing. Yeah, he could be a fucking DH for the Yankees.
All the teams that have money, they already have first basemen. So I don't.
Yeah, that was the thing is where is he gonna go?
I don't see him going anywhere else.
I don't see him going anywhere else. And you know what? And the fact of the matter is that St. Louis is a wonderful baseball town. And he's on a team that has 2 championships in 5 years. I don't know.
He can play for Detroit.
Yeah, he can go to the Tigers. Yeah,
the Tigers don't really have much for first base.
Don't they have Miggy? Doesn't he play first?
Who?
I think.
Who?
Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, Miguel? They'll just put him at DH.
Maybe, I guess.
Or they'll put him at third and then trade Injaway.
By the way, I have an apology to make. I was very critical of the Rangers for not walking Albert Pujols. But after watching the last couple of games, I see why. Because, it's kind of funny because even though Albert Pujols hit that 3 home runs and etc., that's not even the leading story of the World Series. So Craig and Freese and even Molina getting in the action. I see why they didn't walk him because really the lineup and that part of the lineup really is a killer lineup, and they all can. So I can understand that. So I apologize for calling the Texas Rangers dumbasses.
Also, I know Cruz totally blew up that outfield play in the bottom of the 9th in Game 6, but the count was 1-2. I was like, why the fuck is he pitching in the strike zone? I was like completely baffled by that. I was like, why didn't he throw it out?
I think he just wanted to challenge it. Like, Yeah, he could have thrown some kind of breaking ball, but I think at the time he just wanted to finish it and finish strong, and he thought he had the juice and he just didn't. So, it was a bad call, a bad judgment call. But if he had gotten it and he made him fan, he would have looked like a fucking hero. So, I mean, it is what it is. Hindsight's 20/20. So,
you know what? Let's talk about that for a second, because here's another thing. I said here that I didn't think the Cardinals deserved to win it, because I thought that their bullpen collapsed on them. But what the hell happened in Game 6, man, with the Texans?
The Cardinals happened. They it's the same thing that happened with the Tigers and all.
That was just walking people home.
You can have the best pitching on earth, but if your hitting is good, you pretty much are okay. You could have really shitty pitching, but if you're racking up 19, 20 points, or 8 to 10 up to 20 points at any given time because of your hitting, it doesn't fucking matter how good your pitching is.
Yeah, but I'm asking really specifically about Game 6. Walking people home.
Yeah,
that was the collapse right there. That's where come on. I didn't understand what was going on there. Somebody had to explain that.
Yeah. I can't explain that. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I think we should go back to talking about football and how the Lions totally decimated Touchdown Jesus. I know in ancient times that they used to feed Christians to the lions, but Christ, that's just going too far. That was terrible.
Come on. Let me ask you. Let me see if I can get an objective opinion. Do you think that Tim Tebow will be a good quarterback?
That's a good question. I don't think he'll be a good quarterback for Denver. I think he would be a good quarterback for Philadelphia, where he would be able to run with Vic.
See, that brings me to my point. The offensive scheme does not seem to fit Tebow, though.
Well, he's playing in the Wildcat offense. He's playing the modified option offense that he played at Florida. It's just he does not have the fucking talent around him to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like well, first of all, Denver traded away all their talent, which I'm still scratching my head over.
Brandon Lord helped me on my fantasy team. Good shit, Rams.
Oh yeah. I didn't understand what was going on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Brandon Lloyd is the best receiver in football, but for a 6th round pick, that was probably the best trade I've ever seen all year. So I'm still kind of perplexed how Denver, the last couple of years, they just traded away all their receivers and have nothing coming in.
Do they still have the coach that they had when they traded Cutler away? Is that the same guy there?
No, I don't think so.
No, the head coach is the Rams' new offensive coordinator. That's Josh.
Oh, okay. Daniels. Because he's, in my opinion, I think he was the beginning of the end for the Rams franchise. Not Rams, but for the Broncos franchise. He did so many bullshit plays to try and establish that he was the man of the team, and and traded away Cutler for what? Rex Grossman? What the fuck is that?
Brandon Marshall.
Yeah. I don't know. That dude just did not make any sense at all.
Yeah.
But
it just proves that some, not everyone is cut out to be a head coach. I think that Josh McDaniels is a bright offensive mind.
Yeah, which is why he handles the Rams, who got destroyed. Well, not this week, but in the past couple of weeks.
That has to do with Josh McDaniels, though. The team. First of all, the team doesn't have a whole lot of talent to begin with. The talent they did have, they all got injured.
Yeah, that's
no
true.
No off season. So new offensive system. I mean, it's a perfect storm for a disaster. I mean, it's just too much. I mean, I knew that when McDaniels came in, I knew that the Rams' offense was going to suck because the players that are young and they really, and I don't think they can, I don't think they will be able to understand it. You know, I mean, when I look at the Rams, that's not McDaniels' offense. You know, I mean, he's running a very dumbed down version of it. You know, it's just that with new players, I mean, we're trying to still get the offensive line to pick up their blocks correctly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, man. Like, in the end, it's all about the Lions going from absolute garbage to being a top contender. So,
well, I never thought they was absolute garbage because if you look at their losses last year, it's like half of them like.
Yeah, I'm talking like 2 years ago. Like,
well, you mean when they went 0-16?
This past decade has been like the most stressful experience I've ever had when it comes between late August and about December. Like, week after week after week, watching something just completely blow up every week is just very painful, extremely painful. And now, like, through careful considerations, and I still think, maybe I'm the only one, but I think Jim Schwartz is probably the best coach they've had in the past, like, 20 years.
Well, I bet that most fans don't even know that he's from the Belichick tree.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and he was really considered a very, 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 very high IQ, very smart guy, you know, and so, I mean, I thought that Detroit made that's their third best move. Second best move was firing Mooch, and the best move was firing their GM.
Well, Steve Mariucci got royally fucked over. Like, he had Matt Millen to deal with, and it's
I agree. I'm not arguing that. I mean, I'm just saying that
Mariucci was like, "Here's what I need," and Matt Millen was like, "Well, we're just gonna draft another receiver." Okay, but I need defense. No, we're gonna draft another receiver. That's just like, it didn't make any sense. And like the only time it actually made sense is when they drafted Calvin Johnson. I'm like, all right, that guy. I don't care how many receivers we draft in the past 5 years. That guy we need to have. And I'm not gonna lie. Originally, I thought that Stafford was a terrible call. I thought Aaron Curry would be a much better draft, but I see what Aaron Curry's doing in Seattle and what
he's not in Seattle
doing
anymore.
In Detroit. So
he's not in Seattle anymore.
Oh, where is he now?
He's with the Raiders.
Seattle. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, it's sad though. Even this year, where there's more hope than the last few years in Oakland. It's not that Oakland is just where people with no career future go. You know?
It's like in basketball where they threaten to send you to the Queens or Kings, and yeah.
Oh damn.
I mean, it's basically like that.
Yeah, Kings are probably the worst team. I know.
I mean, Kings tied with the Warriors, but the Warriors have some good players, even if the
Warriors are not that bad.
I know nothing of basketball.
How does that work?
So, okay, I'm pretty sure you guys missed the game today, but wow, the Chargers are so bad.
Yeah, I missed it.
Okay,
it pisses me off because Phillip Rivers is on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I know. It's the curse of the chin dog.
What's bad? I mean, this is a team that should have 3 Super Bowl rings by now. What's going on, man?
He got 2 interceptions and like 2 fumbles, I think.
Now we got a beef with that.
I'm sorry.
Campbell's Chunky Soup is the stuff guys love, like huge chunks of meat.
41 attempts. That means there was no running game whatsoever.
Have the Chunky Soup from Campbell's.
Yep.
It's amazing.
13 carries for 57 yards. That's not going to do it. Yep.
Did they have like the best offense last year or something?
Yeah. Like they had the best offense. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I know I'm making good fantasy draft picks, but something goes wrong every year. Like, every year my best player is either hurt for like 5 games, or Dude, tell me that Peyton Manning last year was not was a bad call. Come on now.
That was a bad call. I wouldn't pick him.
You wouldn't have picked the best quarterback, period?
No.
Like,
I mean, man.
and like Arian Foster, that was a great pick. And then
Atomic, you picked Peyton Manning this year? Holy cow! Give me your ass.
I picked Bobo, and I went 8-6.
Yeah, man.
Let me think.
I'm fucking cursed. Like, no matter how good I make a team, it's still going to blow up in my face.
Did anybody who picked Cam Newton?
I did.
Oh, you must be loving that.
Yeah, I should be like 5-3, but I started Matt Ryan over him the first 2 games, so I'm 3-5 right now. But I just beat Neo, and Neo, he knows the least football out of all of us in the league, and he's 6-1. I'm 6-2.
What's Tupperware's record right now? Because all he did was auto draft.
Wait a minute, Neo is Canadian. How the hell y'all letting a Canadian run the train?
I don't know. He's 6-2 right now. He's tied. He's tied with Atomic for top.
I'm not gonna let a Canadian. Okay.
Tupperware is 3-5. I think there's like. I think like 6 of us are like 3-5 right now.
Patrick, I'm just loving your helicopter.
3-5 as well.
CPU fan.
I lost by 1 point to Larry last week. I was a little salty about that. 1 point. I was just like, yes, all I gotta do is make sure my defense holds up, and then my defense gets a -1. And I was just like, you motherfucker.
I lost to Atomic by 1 point, and I didn't even start Cam Newton and Steve Smith. And they scored like 60 points.
Oh, man. I don't know. Whatever, though. My Lions squashed the shit out of... Who the fuck did they even play? I don't even remember.
That's what I'm saying.
The Broncos.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They played Jesus. Like, that's how bad. Like, that game was so fucking awful.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, though, is like the Lions are looking...
It was like watching NFL Blitz. Seriously. Like...
Are the Lions exposed, though?
Like, towards the end of the game, the Lions put all of their second stringers in, and we're just doing run plays and deliberately getting 3 and outs to stretch the game out. And the second string defense was still getting fumbles and was still getting fumble recoveries, and like it just didn't make any damn sense. Like, how the hell is the Broncos starting squad getting crushed by the Lions second and
Well, I'm just asking the question though: are the Lions or is it overrated? Because I'm saying though is who did they beat that's really good?
You do make a good point. Like I
to me, they will earn their stripes. They will earn their stripes if they beat the Packers.
Well, they beat the Bears, and I think the Bears are still a really strong team.
I didn't say the Bears. I say if they beat the Packers.
Oh yeah, like if they beat the Packers, they're cemented as probably the best team in the league.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, man, the Packers right now are the best team in the league.
Yes.
And if they beat the Packers, they'll be the best team in the league.
I don't know about that.
I think so. There's not much that's going to match up. If they end up beating the Packers, there's not much in the NFC at least that they could stretch them out. In the AFC,
Buffalo
I don't
wins the
think
Super
it's going to
Bowl.
be that much.
Go Buffalo.
Yeah, like I'm looking at a lot of teams, and like if they don't go up against like heavy running teams, they'll be all right. But even then, their running defense has gotten a lot better. So, I mean, like their secondary is a lot better than I expected them to be. It's just that for some odd reason people run like all day on them, and I don't understand why at all, considering the front four and linebackers that are on that team. But it just happens. And as for that offense, I don't think there's a better offense in the league right now. Like that team, like when Best is healthy, that team is ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you got guys like Stafford, who's throwing to the best receiver in the league in Calvin Johnson, Titus Young, who's probably going to be like a top 5 receiver in a year or two. Pettigrew, who's a top 5 tight end. You got Best in the backfield, who is really making a strong push for one of the best running backs in the league right now. Like that offense is stacked as fuck. Like I don't see a better offense right now.
Honestly, I think that the Detroit offense, I will put it at number 3. Maybe number 4, because I still will put the Patriots. I will put, let's see. I'll put the Patriots, the Saints, and the Packers. I still think they have the best. They have.
I think the Patriots are vastly overrated. Vastly overrated. Like, because they're so one-dimensional. Their running game is not that great. I mean, it really lives and dies on Wes Welker. Like,
I mean, no argument there. It's just that I mean,
like,
the Steelers did a good job of
Chad Johnson hasn't done shit this year. They have no running whatsoever. Like, it's basically Wes Welker, like, becoming Superman or going Super Saiyan and beasting on everybody. So.
Well, you know what? It's like interesting though, because when the Patriots had that run a couple years ago, this is the thing about them. I mean, they score a lot of points, but you're right. I mean, it helps because they do it. Wes Welker is always getting double or triple covered, and it just opens it up. See, what they do is they don't have the most talented athletes, but I think what is happening is that they get people that are smart and can pick up things quick, because the offense scheme hasn't really changed a whole bunch in that on that team, and you can just plug players in, as long as they're smart enough to understand how the system works,
Yeah, and it never hurts when their recording team is also recording the other team's defensive schemes and plays before the game.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's great. Just like what they recorded the Rams, but that's fine. That's fine. You know why? I'm over it. I'm over it because the Giants ended their perfect little princess season with a loss in the Super Bowl, and then just for cherry on top, we even get the defensive coordinator who did it as our head coach. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. I don't think that. I just don't think the Patriots are that good this year. Like, their record may look strong, but I don't think they've played anybody that's.
Well, you know what? Their defense sucks.
Yeah,
all right,
really
it used to be.
and,
It's a young defense, and a lot of the players, that played in the Super Bowl are no longer there. A lot of it's just how it is. So. All of them most of them are all retired. So they have a very young defense, and they make foolish mistakes. Typical of young guys, and it's going to be a while before Belichick could be able to bring it back up to what it was back in the early to mid 2000s.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Who's that, advisor?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Cowboys, yo. Talk about the Cowboys.
Okay, let me go off 3 points right away.
Oh god.
The Cowboys are ass. The Cowboys are
That was my
ass.
first
The Cowboys are ass.
There's 2 other points I would like to make besides the Cowboys are ass.
Jerry Jones is tool.
Jerry Jones is a tool, but let me develop on that. Who buys a fucking $1 billion stadium for a team that's won 1 playoff game in 11 years? I've counted 11 years.
A team in Texas.
Yeah, a team in Texas, but not $1 billion. You want to spend money on your team unless you're a ginormous tool, like Jerry Baggett Jones.
Because, dude, everything's bigger in Texas, though.
Yeah, but you got to realize no one hates Jerry Jones more than the Dallas Cowboy fans in the league. And not only that, he's almost cost us, I think, those Super Bowls we won in the 90s. We almost lost Emmitt Smith to him trying to not pay the fucker. and we almost lost Irvin in '95 for the same reason. He does not like to spend money on.
Yeah, but he does like paying for blow and painkillers for his players. So
I don't mind blow and painkillers.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason why they got any rings in the '90s. I'm just saying, a mountain of coke and.
If it would get you a ring, you would be cutting the lines for Stafford and yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah, give me the blade.
Yeah, exactly. Lions Super Bowl. Fuck yeah! What 40-something years since before the Super Bowl?
Funny story. You mentioned this, and I was in college. During at LCC, Lansing Community, which is right next to Michigan State University, and this was the time where you had Charles Rogers and Jeff Smoker. And yeah, I've seen parties where Jeff Smoker would be doing lines. So you saying this just reminds.
It's truth in advertising. But I the season is done unless they're. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's completely over for them, but this loss was really demoralizing. Just how ineffective our defense was, and that was our biggest improvement over last year. Was the defense that Rob Ryan brought in. It was just totally exposed and blown up. It looked like no one played football before. Tackles were terrible. The angles were terrible. The coverage was always terrible. We give up so many passes between like 10 to 15 yards. It's insane. We do good deep. We do good in. Well, we didn't do good in run defense in the last game, but over the course of this year, we've been fifth in run defense. I think if the Giants flop in their schedule, because they got a rough schedule coming up. They got the Patriots, which is going to be a rough game for them. They have the Eagles. I think still twice, or did they play them already this year?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to stop you right there because the Eagles are in full free fall right now. That team.
I think they're a good matchup for the Giants, but I agree with you.
That team is just awful right now. Like, I just don't see them recovering at all.
I don't see the ineffective Giants secondary even stopping a mid-range game with the Eagles. Offensive line will get bit killed before December's up. Hill will be dead. I just don't. The NFC East is vastly overrated. There's no real strong team in that whole division. It's not as bad as the NFC West, for God's sake, but it's still not a strong division right now. I think the NFC North is obviously the best division in the NFC.
I argue the NFC North is the best division in the NFL.
Yeah, you can argue that, and I think that's a strong argument.
I mean, yeah,
I'm just talking about the NFC right now.
I mean, yeah, the Vikings don't have the best record, but they still have the best running back in the league, and still can put points on you really fast. And their defense is not bad at all.
Oh no, their defensive line is probably, I would say, easily in the top 10 in the league.
Yeah.
The Ponder for a rookie, I know, was kind of a shaky game, but he did not turn the ball over. That's all you can ask out of a rookie quarterback, is not to turn the ball over. He looked.
I'm just glad that they're okay. They know that they fucked up by signing Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that they realize it and then just try to save face by playing McNabb for the rest of the season, even though they knew that was not the right. So I'm glad that Ponder's getting experience because to me, I think he shows a lot of promise.
Oh, I think with their offensive line, you cannot have a high movement quarterback. They don't block the pass rush very well. They don't collapse very well. They're very stiff as an offensive line. You need a quarterback that can stand solid inside the pocket with them. I mean, you've got great receivers. You've got Percy Harvin if he can stay healthy. You have Adrian Peterson can still catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, you got so many good possible receivers that you need a good pocket quarterback in Minnesota. Like I say, the defense is pretty good. I just don't see in the division with Green Bay how young and strong Green Bay is. how young and strong the Lions are, the Vikings won't have a playoff season in the next 3 years, at least.
Yeah, well, it's interesting though, because one of the things that people are not really talking about, but I'll talk about it, is that out of the last 10 years, this is probably the Packers is probably the first team that I can say that has honestly a good chance of going back to the Super Bowl.
Oh, they were my pick. They were my pick to repeat. Like as soon as the season was over last year, actually, I'm like, these guys are too young, too strong. This is definitely the strongest chance for someone to repeat. Since who was the last team to do it? The Patriots, and the one before that was the Cowboys. So, yeah.
What the hell is going on?
The defense of the Packers is what gives me. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but to win a championship in football, it is no doubt the opposite of baseball, which is defense wins championships. And the Packers' defense is downright fucking nightmare for offenses. They got a great secondary. They got a good, strong linebacker core to help on pass and rush defenses. Their defensive line is nothing. I think, if it can be considered a weakness on that defense, I think their defensive line is.
Hey, who's got the radio playing?
Not me.
Someone got a video playing in the background.
I'm watching football.
Well, you can't watch football while you get on the radio.
Well, I'm watching ESPN, yo. Fine. Damn, man.
Closed caption, man.
Black people. Goodness gracious. All right. No, but Atomic, no. Don't start Tebow. Don't start Tebow.
Who would you start? You start Kyle Orton?
Start Tebow. Please.
Who are the Broncos playing next week?
It doesn't matter because they're going to.
It doesn't matter.
Oakland.
Humor me.
They're going to play Oakland, and Oakland's defense ain't that bad.
Oh no! Don't start Tebow.
Yeah, I mean they still got what's his face on
Tebow
there.
so he can injure. Yeah. Start him. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tebow is. I've been saying it since he was in Florida. Will never ever amount to anything in the NFL.
Well, I mean he can't amount to much when he has no weapons, though.
I don't think he's going to be a good QB. I think he'll be better as a different position. He's like.
I have a question now. Like, when you see guys like Donovan McNabb and Vic and Tebow and whatnot, guys that running quarterbacks that do have a fair amount of talent, you can vary the talent, but never have really been established great winners, guys that can win the game. Could you argue that being a running quarterback puts you at a significant disadvantage than someone who's a pocket quarterback?
Well, it definitely is more chance of injury, being a running quarterback. But I think that McNabb. The problem with McNabb is, if you look at McNabb's stats, his stats are actually really good. His problem is that he chokes.
Well, he doesn't win games. That's the thing.
He chokes it up in the playoffs. If there was no playoffs, he'd be a Hall of Famer. It's true.
This is T-ball NFL, and nobody ever won. Yes, he would definitely be.
Seriously. You look at him in the regular season; he's had great. A big stretch of years where he just had great numbers. But in the playoffs, where you earn your freaking paycheck, he chokes it up. I cannot think. You know what? The thing about it is, when the Eagles are in the playoffs with McNabb, you can bet on one thing: that the game will end. You can bet on two things. The Eagles will lose, and the last play will be a McNabb interception.
Just like it's the parallel with Tony Romo, except for the Eagles will actually, or McNabb would actually get deep into the playoffs, and Romo would not.
Yeah, well,
I think yes, in this league, it's definitely a highly offensive league. I don't think without a strong arm threat, McNabb doesn't. He had an okay arm, but he was definitely overrated as a thrower coming out of college.
All right. Well, McNabb was like he's just like he's a big quarterback. Like he's very hard to tackle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like
Culpepper.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about Dante Culpepper or anything like. There have only been 2 successful running quarterbacks ever. That was Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham. Every other running quarterback has been a total and completely disaster when it comes
Warren
to.
Moon also has the record for most fumbles by a quarterback.
Yeah, that too. And Randall Cunningham could actually throw the ball when he needed to.
Cunningham was godlike. I love that guy.
But I don't know what the issue is, a running quarterback or not. To me, the issue is when we look at the most successful quarterbacks over the last, just say, 10 years, the one continuity that I see is that an offensive scheme that's been in place for a very long time. When I look at Peyton Manning, when I look at the Patriots with Tom Brady, they all have systems that has a great amount of continuity to it. It doesn't change a whole lot.
Well,
every
yeah,
2
but
years.
the Steelers a little bit, but
And the Steelers, what I'm saying though is that they have a system that tailors to the quarterback, that fits the quarterback's strength, and it doesn't change every year or 2 years.
Yeah. Well, you could also say that about the Lions. I mean, their systems have changed over the years, and have changed several times over the years. And Stafford, this is the first year Stafford's actually had a healthy season to be able to work this one system, and he's doing fantastic with it.
He's doing fantastic, but
I'm not gonna lie,
he's great. No, don't get me wrong. I think you can build a Super Bowl team around Stafford. However, with all due respect to him, he still has not beat a double A, much less a triple A team yet. I need him. I still
think the Vikings are still a much better team than a lot of people think.
I agree with that, but
the Bears are a much better team. The Bears could beat like over three-fourths of the league.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
I need the Detroit to beat the Steelers, the Patriots, or Green Bay. If they can beat one of those teams, then I'm prepared to say
Detroit will walk all over the Steelers. I mean, there's no hands on
too old.
Okay, they said that before yesterday's game, and
Detroit
look what happened.
will put up 70 on the Patriots defense.
Whoa, Dan,
that defense is atrocious.
You're overdoing that. 70 points.
That defense is absolutely fucking atrocious. That secondary is too old and too slow, and Calvin Johnson will walk to the end zone.
Okay, now, okay, we will see that, because don't get me wrong, I know people have been saying that about. Oh well, you're talking about the Patriots, but I was actually I was thinking more about the Steelers. When they face a real, you know what? Let me pull up Detroit's.
To be
Detroit's
realistic
schedule.
And totally honest,
Their schedule on pulling up right now.
Yeah. To be totally honest, I don't think Roethlisberger is that good of a quarterback.
He's solid, and
He's the opposite of McNabb.
He does what he has to do. That's it. He does what he has to do as a quarterback. It's not about you being this guy-like and stuff. If you're doing your job as a quarterback or as any position of play, then you're fine.
But if you look at the Steelers' offense in general, it's a lot. It's all that same thing. It's like, all right, they're all right. They do their job, but no one really stands out. Nobody is like, oh my God, this guy is fucking amazing. We need to put, there's nobody you could strictly say when you look at the Steelers offense and say, this is a top 10 player in this position, or this is a top 20 player in this position. It's just a bunch of guys who are good, but not great at their positions. I think
it's a team sport, though. I mean, my thing about it though is that the Steelers have been in the top 5 defenses over the last 10 years, it looks like. And, I mean, it's...
Yeah, but the thing is, they haven't really evolved that defense at all. No. They're the same players from these past 10 years, and those guys are getting old.
That's true. So you're right. You're right about that. And it'd be interesting to see... The talent that they're. I mean, I want to see some young talent out of that team. I mean, that is a valid criticism. But going back with about the Detroit Lions though, I'm like, to me, they need to beat the best. in order for me to get a comp. Because right now the ones they're getting are over opponents that
in 2 weeks, whether 2 or 3 weeks, when Detroit play Green Bay, we'll
They'll
find
play
out.
Green.
3 weeks.
They'll play Green Bay over Thanksgiving.
And Thanksgiving, we'll find out what's up.
yeah, exactly. Now, if they can beat Green Bay, I'm prepared to say this team is legit for real. They can do something this year as like going deep into the playoffs.
Like, and then speaking of Green Bay, I mean, seriously, like, I don't think Green Bay has played anyone like that's top 5 in the NFL.
That's true.
They haven't beaten anyone that's top 5 in the NFL.
You know, I mean, well, yeah, yes, that's true. However, it's not like their schedule has been all easy. I mean, their opening game is at the Saints. I mean, so you know,
it was at home. But
what? I thought they was at okay. Well, fine.
It's not that great.
I got the schedule up right now. The first week was
the
Bucks.
Saints. What?
The Bucks. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Sure.
September 11th, the Bucks.
Green Bay?
27. Oh no, I was talking about Detroit still.
Okay.
Yeah, Detroit was the Bucks.
Yeah, okay, this is the teams they beat. They've beaten the Bucks, they've beaten the Chiefs, they've beaten the Vikings, they've beaten us, Dallas, they've beaten Chicago, they lost to San Francisco, they lost to Atlanta, and they just beat the Broncos. So there is some suspect with their schedule. I mean, they've had a...
you're talking about Detroit's schedule. Okay, yeah, I mean,
Detroit.
You're right, you know, and I'm just saying, though, is, like I said, if Detroit beats Green Bay, then I am prepared to say that this team is legit and needs to be feared. You know,
that's gonna be their first real test.
Their first real test. You know, and it'll be interesting though because it's going to be quite possible, very possible that Packers may still take the division.
I mean, I think they're going to take it. They got an easy ass fucking schedule. Like they. One of the top 3 easiest schedules in the league.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like it's not even without question. But regardless of that, I ain't gonna lie. Aaron Rodgers is on some other shit right now. He is on crack. If he's not in your fantasy, then you will lose. If he's not in your fantasy, real talk, yo. This dude is crazy though. He puts up he averages 300 yards per game. It's fucking crazy.
Okay. Here's who the Lions have to play the next 5 games. They have to play Chicago at Chicago. They have to play the Panthers. They have to play the Packers. They have to play the Saints in New Orleans, and then they got to play the Vikings again. And then after that, they got to play the Raiders in
the Packers in LA.
You know what? It's conceivable.
Then Packers.
It is conceivable that I'm thinking. Well, my original prediction was probably to turn out. I think that the Detroit will probably end up at 12-4, and that which will give them the second seed.
That would actually give them playoff contention.
Well, of course. I mean, not only will give them, they might be second seed.
Yeah, the wild card.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, because you know what, you're right. Because I'm sorry, I forgot who they're in the division with. Dang, that's wrong. Because they're going to be playing at a team that's going to have probably 10 wins or less.
Yeah.
Which is
or 9 wins or less, or 8 wins in that case, because NFC West is ass. But I don't think that's happening. Because San Francisco looks like they're going to get at least 9 wins out of this season.
I don't know, man. It depends on how their season goes.
Oh, speaking of which, why is the most slept on team right now is Cincinnati? Do you know they're 5-2? I didn't realize that until yesterday. I didn't even realize that until last night. I was like, yo, Cincinnati's 5-2. Holy shit! What the fuck?
Man, you know why they're 5-2? Look at their defense.
Yeah.
Look how many points they're allowing. They're like number 2 in points allowed. They're ahead of the Steelers on points allowed. They are like it's literally like
anything. And that's the funny thing. I'm like, yo, why are everybody, even myself, sleeping on the Cincinnati Bengals? Like, them defense is serious.
First of all, their quarterback is showing promise.
Yeah. He's a good pocket standing quarterback, and I think that's a swing you're going to see. Like 6-7 years ago, everybody wanted the mobile quarterback. Everybody wanted the the sort of scrambling quarterback. But now I think we're going to see a swing to the more classic style of quarterback, especially with Luck coming out next year, the suck for Luck deal.
Dolphins want it. Dolphins want that deal.
The Dolphins will win before the Colts easy.
It's interesting because I think that Painter is.
What? No, I don't think that the Colts would want to draft Luck because they want to work on Peyton Manning. That's Peyton Manning's team, and no matter what you say, Peyton Manning's a head coach. He's the offensive coordinator, and fuck it, sometimes he may be the defensive coordinator.
But I had a dream last night, D-Nice. I had a dream. I had a dream last night that the
Came on with the King.
the Colts drafted Luck. Peyton Manning goes emo, asks for his release. He gets it with a pay cut. Jerry Jones snaps and spends $30 million on him for a season.
I think you need to take another snort of your coke because that.
So I gotta believe that.
You know what? I think he has a point. I think that Jerry Jones would be crazy enough to give him that type of deal. Because you know what? The thing about it is, no one is going to want to pay Peyton Manning that type of money. Because despite that he is a Hall of Fame quarterback, he is recovering from a severe injury and he's 35 years old. This is not a young puppy. They're not going to spend that type of money on him.
You'll still spend at least top 10, maybe even top 5 money for even injured Peyton Manning.
Okay,
Also,
guys, I need to get going, so I'm going to take it off.
Take it easy, man.
All right, man.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
The Cowboys.
I'm gonna beat you to Nug next week.
The Cowboys are, and that's the problem with the beginning of this year. We're in severe cap trouble. Now, I don't think we'll be that way next year because a lot of people are going. Especially if we don't make the playoffs. A lot of people, I think Doug Free is going to go, even though he's in the wrong position. Atomic, let me tell you why of Romo. Because the fans want him gone more than anybody else. Jerry Jones wants to keep his life. And he is not worth shit. He is a terrible quarterback. The only reason he's even in there is because he had a good game with an awesome offensive line, a season with an offensive line of craziness.
That was like 5 years back, right? That was about 5 years back.
He's been there 6 years, and he's only won 1 playoff game, and he's been eliminated in 3 others.
And on top of that, those eliminations was of him not even being clutch, him choking.
Yo, and he was an offense Seattle.
Especially that Seattle game.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Seattle was a classic game because he choked and he didn't even have to pass the ball.
No. I don't even know what kind of play was that, but he was on the field holding the ball for the kicker.
Yeah.
What the fuck you on the field for?
It would have been a win. It would have been a win. And
you on the field? What fucking guy?
Yeah. Okay. Number 1. I got 2 things to say to Atomic's points. He had Marion Barber and Julius Jones, not great running backs by themselves, but together, and especially in a third down situation, they were strong running backs. They had, on wide receivers, they had the biggest fucking joke in the last 10 years. They had shitty wide receivers, but still, it's not offense that wins Super Bowls. It's not offense that wins playoffs. It's the offense that puts him in position, but it's ultimately the defense that wins playoff games, and he didn't even put him in a position to win it. We got trounced every playoff game except for the Seattle one. We got trounced.
And then that game was just like, oh, hey, Seattle, you can have the win.
Yeah, you can't win on field goals, man. You can't win on field goals. You got to score touchdowns, and you got even if it's 1 or 2 touchdowns, you have to score those touchdowns. You can't rely on field goals.
So my question is to you, Visor, is very simple. Let's say it happens. Okay, let's say the Colts draft Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. Manning asks for his release, he gets it. All right, because you know what? Actually, because most people don't know, I guess the Colts can't opt out of his contract. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, you think that Jerry Jones will give him basically complete control of the offense? Because I bet
that's the big thing. The money's not the big thing; it's the control.
Right, because the one thing he's going to say is that offense I want to put in my own offense.
Right, and that's the reason in the last 6 years after Parcells, we had Wade Phillips, who was a complete cream puff, didn't know how to stand up for anything, was a terrible leader. Jason Garrett's kind of showing himself to be the same thing so far, and he had a lot of fire in the last season, but I'm not seeing it this year. Then that's why I think he that's my only detracting point from that is the control, because Jerry Jones is a control freak. He always has been, always will be, even back when Tom Landry was released. I think he would do it for Peyton. I really do. He would have to. He'd be crazy not to. He'd be absolutely fucking insane.
And you think that Garrett would not have an issue with that?
I guarantee you, if they got Peyton Manning and they said no, or Garrett was saying no, we're just staying with our offense, he would not have a job. And they would put Rob Ryan as head coach.
Yeah, so basically, as Manning runs the offense, Ryan runs the defense.
That sounds good to me. Sounds fucking great.
I mean, don't get me wrong, because you know what? I think that it's one of those things where it deserves consideration, because I think that Peyton Manning is aware that he is an excellent quarterback, but he's also a very good offensive mind.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when New England had Indianapolis' number? When Manning used to have horrible games against the Patriots. Then he went in the lab and he thought that stuff. He's like, wait a minute. I need to do this, that. And then all of a sudden, Indianapolis started whooping the New England Patriots' ass. I still think about that.
Whooping, those games have been really close.
They've been good, but you know what? It used to. But you know what? I say whoop because I still think about the AFC Championship game where the Patriots were up 21.
Every time in the playoffs, they only played each other twice.
No, they play each other every year. It's a Monday night event. It's a Sunday or Monday night event. They play each other every year without fail.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Actually, no. All right. Sorry. They played each other in the playoffs at least 3 times. I know Patriots won the first one, and the second one was the AFC Championship. That's when Peyton Manning. And then the third time was when fucking that wasn't a Monday night. That wasn't a fucking playoff game. That was a Sunday night football game.
Yeah.
But fucking he was like, let's just not kick it and go for 4th down. Let's not punt it and go for 4th down. Yeah, good fucking move there.
Yeah, that was. But you know what? It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because he did the same thing in the Super Bowl. Remember Belichick winning for 4th down and didn't get it against the Giants, and that was the 3 points. That was a 3 point difference in the game.
Well, let me bring it back onto something else about the Cowboys. You don't need a Peyton Manning. Well, it would be nice, but you don't need a Peyton Manning level quarterback. You need a New England Patriot level offensive line. Even Romo, the dumbass that he is, I mean, he's football dumb, can do decent with a good offensive line. We have 3 people who are not playing their natural positions on our offensive line. Doug Free, we have the rookie. We're starting a rookie in a position that he's not that strong in. And we have a terrible center. I can't even fucking remember his name. I think we just signed a new one. We need to solidify our offensive line. The remaining 2 members are also very old, and it's just it's going to get Romo killed. Hopefully, so we can get another quarterback, but not before the end of the season.
But you know what? In recent years, the offensive line has become the new wide receiver. Yeah. I think all of a sudden, all the NFL owners got hit that you need a great offensive line if you have any chance of having going to the Super Bowl. It's kind of funny because
so important.
It is so important because they looked at the Patriots, they looked at Indianapolis, and they realized that these 2 teams with the best 2 quarterbacks, and look at the Saints, they all have remarkably low sacks ratios, and they're like, oh, well, that's the reason, because they realized that a great quarterback does you little good if you get him killed because you ain't got no offensive line.
The Mike Vick story.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where They start. I mean, the Rams have so many holes to fill, obviously, but the one hole they need to fill is on the offensive line. They have addressed it the last few years, but unfortunately, the injury bug has just really bitten them.
Steven Jackson is ran like a fucking maniac last game on a shitty offensive line. If you had at least a side of solid offensive linemen, imagine the fucking crazy numbers he could put up.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? And I'm kind of, because I'm scared because I think Bradford has it, the X factor. I think he has it. I think Bradford is going to be a great quarterback.
Never know without an offensive line.
But you'll never, you will never find out if you don't get a good offensive line in there. Fortunately for me, Steve Spagnuolo, to me, I really like him. I really like him because of two reasons. First of all, is that he's football savvy. Secondly, he's a great leader, and he has an accountable. I think that after the loss to the Cowboys last week, I think he went in and told each one of those players, "You're all playing for your jobs."
He's also coaching for his job, I think.
I think he's relatively safe because there's so many factors with the Rams that's really outside of his control. No off season, almost all of your offensive starters, they all got injured. It's like, limited trading. And the fact that he was really left with shit.
Yeah, but
besides Steven Jackson,
all the shit rolls downhill, and the head coach is at the bottom of the hill with his mouth wide open.
I understand, but it's one of those things where I think plus they're new owners. The Rams got new owners, right? So but I think the Rams owners are fine with the GM and the head coach because they realize that the Rams have been neglected. Mike Marsh didn't do shit about developing new talent.
The worst offensive coordinator in the league, in my opinion.
Huh?
Mike Marsh is the worst offensive coordinator in the league.
He's very. You know what? I think
he's playing Madden.
Yeah,
on PS2.
I think he's very good at concepts, but he does not take feedback, criticism, etc., etc., etc. He does not. He doesn't know that you gotta have a relationship with your players. That is very important because that relationship is what makes them play hard for you. Not necessarily because they have
Detroit, he was throwing the ball 80% of the time.
Yeah.
he's like I said, he's playing fucking Madden on the PlayStation 2, and he's just not a very good coordinator. I mean, it's terrible.
I think that concept wise, he's very, very good. I think that the Rams made him look better than he actually is because the Rams offense back in '99 was. It was a freak show on wheels. It just happens to be that the stars lined up, and he got a team that would be spoken of for the next.
Execute his crazy ass ideas.
Yeah, that was actually able to execute Madden plays. It basically what that boiled down to, but I think that. Yeah, but it made him a lot better than he is now. When he's come back to reality, now he's on a team where it don't even have half the talent, and now he realizes that his shit doesn't work, and so but offensive line, but also another thing about the Rams is that they have a new offensive coordinator and a new offensive scheme, and it's going to take them time. First, they need to get the talent. Which I'm glad they're traded for Brandon Lloyd. I think he's good. He's a good fit for the team and for the situation they're in. But it's going to take time because it's a new offensive scheme, and you can tell because I look at like some of the mistakes that are being made, and a lot of mistakes are drop passes, which is mental errors. But a lot of it is running the wrong route. Like I look at what's his face is throwing. AJ Fields throwing that. They didn't the receiver there. That to me tells me that they weren't on the same page. I don't know if the receiver fucked up or he fucked up, but something didn't get crossed there. I think that the Rams will be fine eventually. It's just that
can't get much worse.
Shit. It's going to take time to rebuild that team.
Yeah, they had a lot of rebuilding to do though.
They have a lot of rebuilding to do, but you know what? It's like with Detroit. You look at Detroit. You look at they were 0-16.
Yep.
And look what they went with. And And again, it really started with Detroit kind of gives me hope for the Rams because Detroit, they had a head coach change and a GM change, like the Rams did a couple years ago. They drafted a new quarterback. The first 3 seasons, 2 or 3 seasons was abominable, but they kept with it, and now you're seeing the fruits of their labor. Mm-hmm. So I think that's I look at Detroit. I'm hoping that in a few years that the Rams will be what Detroit is this year.
To be and to help you guys, you are in the weakest division in football. I mean, that will reflect, at least give you some training dummies,
Yeah, but you know what? Do you think that? I mean, you're right. As far as I think the 49ers are on their upswing. I think they're going to come back.
They're frauds. I mean, they haven't beat anybody.
Yeah, but I like Jim Harbaugh. I think that's what that team needs. They need somebody that's football savvy because I think Mike Singletary, he may be a great, speaker and all of that, but he was football stupid, and it showed. And he lost the respect of his players because they found out that this dude don't know the shit between his legs.
Harbaugh's definitely the real deal.
Yeah, he's definitely the real deal. So I think that's bearing out, because really. I'm surprised. I mean, because I ask him, they must have got a new quarterback. And then I look at, it's still Alex Smith in that motherfucker.
Yeah, I thought Alex would have been gone.
I'm like, but they're making him work. It's making him work. Now you're right. Their schedule. Well, you can't say they haven't beaten nobody. They beat Detroit.
They beat Detroit, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Because really, to be honest, I'm really impressed with Jim Harbaugh because he's not really playing with his team. He's playing with the remaining of what Mike Singletary haphazardly did together. I mean, he hasn't had an off season.
They always had fragments of real strong. Players. You got Laverne Wells and you got Patrick Willis on defense, and you got those core players to build around. It just doesn't seem like the front office is on the same page, and that's a whole different number crunching BS I don't even like to talk about. But with Harbaugh in there, it's he knows how to work. For all intents and purposes, he was a vastly underrated quarterback when he was in the league. He was tough as fuck. He had a great arm. He got good presence of the field. He knows how this game works. He knows it probably better than almost any other coach in the league. He definitely knows how to hide his weaknesses very well. And I just think that they got Frank Gore, who I don't know how old he is, but he should be getting up there. He's over the running back prime.
But
they need to keep building because they're going to get blown up in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh you know what? It's like with the Rams and with the Seahawks. Really, every team in the NFC West. The biggest problem with the NFC West is the lack of talent. And
keep at it though. If they keep at it, they have some young players there that will make a real.
Right. It just won't be quick. It's going to take a long while. At least the good thing is about the 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC West, I feel good about the head coaching staff. Seahawks, I don't know what they were thinking by getting Pete Carroll. Honestly,
the only reason Carroll is there is because he was about to get his nuts busted in USC.
Right.
He skipped town.
Yeah. So, and I'm still racking my head about that because I think that his team, I think that the team, how can I say this? There's no, man, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the team was all over the place. Seems like there's no structure.
No. He's running it a lot like a college team. It just
exactly. It's I don't know, man. It's just it just doesn't. He does not. He's been in the league before, and he took a Super Bowl team and made it an ass team.
That's what I was saying about Wade Phillips, man. I'm like, do these dudes not get NFL films? Do they not get ESPN Classic? Can they not see these dudes, getting blown the fuck up before in the NFL? Carroll, yes, good great, college coach, not worth shit in the league. He went from being a god figure in Southern California to a terrible market for football. Well, maybe not so bad. I mean, there's worse, but it's definitely not. It's definitely near the bottom of markets for football. And a team that is so fragmented and has no real strength. I mean, you can't. At least I can't. I can't sit down and look at the Seahawks and see something that say, "Oh, this is the starting point where they can build around."
Right. I mean, they
Not like
traded
I can
with
with
the
Rams,
Jackson.
not like I can with the Vikings. Teams that are doing not that great, but I can still see the bright sides of that. I can't see that in Seattle.
I mean, I knew that they were in for it when they traded for Tavares Jackson. That's like, I knew that was it. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm a St. Louis. I'm like, ooh,
My
goodness.
dad's a Vikings fan, and he's got a little bit of racism in him, but he always used to call him that Bubba Gump nigga. That's all he would call him, and he's just football dumb. He was like what we were talking about earlier. He is just football dumb. He does not make good throws. He does not have a good arm. He does not have good accuracy. He was able to run for a little bit, but once he stepped outside of the pocket, he didn't have the field vision and got creamed, got hurt. He is technically useless. It's time to put Oak Jeller down.
And just to think that they let Matt go to Tennessee, and then they brought him in. And,
he must feel like it's his birthday.
I think that the problem with I would never hire a head coach from USC. You know why? It's because USC is the school. So all the best talent would naturally come to you first.
Matt Leinart was also born on the same day as me, same year. So, little random fact. Yeah, he sucks though.
I mean, my issue is that in USC, how can you ever evaluate a head coach where, if you have remarkable talent, USC is always going to be on the top school. I mean, it's no competition.
Well, even bringing like Harbaugh from Stanford was a risk. I mean, bringing a head coach from a college head coaching position to the NFL coaching position is a huge risk. It's not like bringing someone within the organization and promoting them to head coach. That's a lot less of a blatant risk as it is from two different games almost you're watching. I mean,
it's not the same. And the thing though is that in the NFL you don't get shit handed to you on the platter like you do when you're the head coach of the USC when you just got the.
No.
You
like
got
I said, he was like a god down there. Anything he wanted, he got.
Yeah, because USC was the cream of the crop. So I mean, it's just I don't know. I mean, to me, you impress me if you are in a where you're not part of a team that with 85 championships. Where you're taking a school that traditionally struggled and you made them into something worth talking about. Now you got my attention, but. To me, it's hard for me to evaluate a head coach of a team where everything is handed to them on a silver platter. It's just not, because when they win, do they win because the head coach was great, or they win because all the talented players go to that school?
Yeah, it's more dirty money in college football than there ever will be in the NFL.
Yeah, at least the dirty money is more spread out.
Yeah,
concentrated
exactly.
within. So I mean, it's just, and I'm sorry, and I think that this is a disaster for Seattle, and and I tell them,
he's not. I don't think he'll be there next year.
Yeah, I mean, because people are like, well, look at your Rams. Listen, well, the Rams, it's like, listen, when they brought in, when Spagnuolo came in, the first thing that he did that let me know that he was serious was he let go of Mark Bolger. I'm like, thank the Lord. The dude is not ready to. The dude is not. I mean, it's no fault of his own because he's gotten hit so much that he sees defensive
other
players that aren't there. He just. I mean, it's. And I'm sorry. I mean, we would all do the same if we got hit as much as he did. I mean, he set a record for getting the most sacks on him. But when he let him go, Leonard Little, he let him go. Yes, he was great, but he was like 33 years old. His knee has been bent forward and backwards. I mean, it's time to let him go. I mean, so they started Torrey Holt, let him go. I'm like, great, but he ain't the speedy receiver that he was. That he once was. I mean, they start trimming the fat. They start getting rid of the old players that have been their way about 2 to 5 years too long. I mean, it's just he did what needed to be done, and he knew it wasn't going to be pretty. Then they went out. They drafted Sam Bradford. Great start. He's a bright kid. He's definitely got the arm. He's definitely mobile. He's definitely football smart. He's definitely ambitious. He wants to be the best. So
Right.
I'm like, so they're already. I'm seeing it now. Last year was a lot different than this year because last year there was no lockout, and he has some stuff that he can play. This year he lost his offensive coordinator, who went to become the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Pat Shermer.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got a new offensive coordinator, but no offseason to implement anything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that hurt a lot of teams, especially teams with younger players. And
You guys talking about the Seattle Hawks too much. Talk about the Cardinals.
Actually, I want to talk about Buffalo for a bit. Is that okay?
Buffalo?
Yeah, let's talk about Buffalo. What do you want to talk
Buffalo.
about?
Okay. Do you think this is a fluke, flash in the pan year? That's a basic question.
No, I think Buffalo is for real. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but I think this is one thing that Mike Martz was good at is that he knows a good quarterback when he sees one.
Mm-hmm.
And because remember Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was drafted by the Rams.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's like what, second, third round?
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy from Harvard. Harvard is never known for football.
Yeah.
But this dude is super damn smart, and I thought that, and I was hurt that they traded him away. I didn't agree with that. They traded him away to the Bengals. The Bengals didn't do anything. I mean, the Bengals didn't do much with it because they had too much drama, and they really didn't build an offense around him. I mean, there wasn't any. I mean, there was so much going on that team. Now that they got rid of all the people that have been causing all the drama, all of a sudden, team is doing great now. But
the same thing with the Bengals. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. The Bengals. I mean, they get rid of all the people with the mouths. I mean, either they all left or they're all dead. It's sad. I mean, but it's true. I mean, so it's now that they got all the distractions out of the locker room, they can focus on what they need to do, and look what they're doing.
Yeah, I've just been like really having a lot of fun watching them. I think I'm not sure on Fitzpatrick either. As far as a long-term quarterback,
I think he's smart.
I mean,
because
he's got the brains. But
he got the brains, and I think he got the arm. And but I think
don't have a deep ball threat for him. They don't.
Right. They still need to work on getting talent around him.
Yeah.
And that is what they need. The Bills need to focus on. They gave him the extension now. Great. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. But that depends on. The offensive line is actually decent. I don't really have an issue with their offensive line. So but they need to work on getting him more weapons and and make sure keep the running game going. And then just let him mature because his maturity has been stifled a bit because he started in St. Louis behind Mark Bolger and and all of that, and then of course all of the stuff that happens. Martz gets fired, and then Linehan couldn't do shit. And so he and then he gets traded to the Bengals, and so his development has been stalled a few years.
Yeah, it's been inconsistent.
Yeah, so but you keep on keeping him in the loop, keep on playing games. He's only going to go up from here.
It kind of felt like they basically when your dad's trying to teach you how to swim, he throws you in the pool. It's what it kind of feels like they did, and he seems to be swimming all right. But I just want to know how long he can tread for. I mean, we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah,
we got to see how he does. We'll see. We'll talk about him when week 13, week 14 comes around to see if he's still in one piece.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then you know what? And really, I'm happy. I'm happy for the Buffalo beat the New England because sometimes it all starts with one game. You know, to really start to, because you know it's not that they get on a high and they start, but it's just the expectations. You set high expectations, that's how you get better. See what I mean? With the Rams, I'm glad that the Rams' first win came against the Saints, because now there's no excuse for them to lose, because they beat the team with the number one offense, and they beat a Super Bowl team. That's pretty much the same team that was in the Super Bowl less than 2 years ago.
And another thing about Buffalo is, like, if you ever met some, like, hardcore Buffalo Bills fans, they're great people. They hate my fucking guts, but they're good people. I'm really glad to see that program turn around.
That's really interesting, because who's their head coach? Is it Fewitt? What's his name? He's a black dude?
I honestly don't remember. Let me Google that shit. I honestly don't.
Buell, I think, is his name. I think.
Oh, let's see. No, it's Chan Gailey?
What?
Yeah.
Who's he?
It's Chan fucking Gailey.
Who's he? The name doesn't ring a bell.
He used to be a really great college coach. He also coached for the Cowboys a couple of years.
Really? Okay, I have known nothing about
But
him.
they got some, like, former head coaches in the assistant slots. I mean, some.
Oh, that would help. That would definitely help.
Yeah. Like Wonstadt.
Yeah.
He's the assistant head coach and inside linebacker coach. Well, yeah, they got a good coaching staff there.
That's great, because, you know, that's what you're going to need with a young team.
Yep.
And, you know, so the Bills, I think they're going to make some noise this year. I still think that even if they don't go into the playoffs or deep into the playoffs, I think they're going to look back on this season, and it's going to be a lot of things they can smile about.
Oh, damn yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, after all these years of, you know, sub 500, they'll at least be 500. Even if things go bad, I still think they'll be at least a 500 team. I think they'll probably end up around 9-7. I don't think they'll break double digit. Yeah, that's still great for them. Yeah, I agree. Anytime that bastard loses, you know, I'm talking about Tom Brady, of course, is a good day. He's just. Let me just rant about him for a second. He is everything football should not be.
Who?
Tom Brady. He's a great quarterback, don't get me wrong, but the way he carries himself, the way, you know, he's got the Justin Bieber-like haircuts, and it hurts my heart.
I mean, you don't have to sleep with the man. I mean, so.
No, I've had an affair with football for, like, all my life, and it hurts my heart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in the, you know, country was pretty much football, and there was nothing else. And he is, I mean, you think about, like, the kick-ass quarterbacks of the past. They were all these grizzly-looking motherfuckers, you know? When it came down to game day. Well, with the exception of Namath, which was a fringe of, but at least Namath had that like, that grit. And I don't feel that from Brady. He feels like a robot. He feels like a fucking mannequin.
Well, he is. I mean, one of the things though is that one thing. No homo. But the one thing about him that when he's suited up, one thing that you get is his eyes. That dude got eyes. I swear his eyes glow, man. Like that dude's a machine. He's in the Terminator when he goes out there.
Yeah, he's definitely was built by Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, and he runs that offense. That offense is his, you know, and because you know what? It's like, again, when the receiver drops the ball, they run the wrong route, you see Tom Brady going over there giving him the earful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just like with Peyton Manning, you miss a play.
Yeah, I'm not knocking him on any of his skills because he's probably, you know, I mean, you can probably make the argument if he's best all time. I still won't agree with it, but you can definitely make the argument.
I think that he will be best all time. No, I still think that at this juncture, Joe Montana still got 4 Super Bowl rings to Tom Brady's 3, and I think that, and there's still a lot
a
of
better era for a more competitive football.
and the records that are still standing, you know, 10, 15 years later, and I think Joe Montana is still probably the best.
But then you can make the argument that number one, Brady's had good receivers, but he hasn't had Jerry Rice's early. I mean, he had Moss that 1 year, but not over a span of 5, 6 years even. I mean, he hasn't had the Jerry Rice.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And I still think, and it's one of those things was, when I look at that team that won those 3 championships, first of all, it's all about defense. The Patriots' defense was excellent, and because they weren't as physical as the Steelers, although they can play that, The thing about the Patriots defense is
it's smart defense.
It's a hard defense to decipher. Mm-hmm. You don't know the guy that's standing in front of you pre-snap and post-snap.
Yeah,
may not be the same guy. It was a lot of moving pieces, and they were able to execute that. And they had the athleticism to pull that off. That's why I really think that when you look at the Patriots defense now, that's not really Belichick's defense. I mean, just like with anything else, I don't think they even understand.
Their defense is not there. It's almost non-existent this year. And Shindog was right. Their defense is atrocious. And what that makes me feel even more sad because we only scored 16 points on them. And I think it was 16. It might have been 14. I can't seem to remember. But when we played them, their defense is terrible. The defensive line's not that bad, but once you get past 5 yards, it seems like they fall apart.
Yeah.
That's why I don't see them winning. I don't see them making
No. What? It's hard for me to say, but I still think that even with the loss, I still think that if the Jets and the Patriots met again, I think the Jets could still beat them.
I think so. It's any given Sunday, but when you have a hole in your defense that big, you're not making it deep into the playoffs.
No, and again, and not all of it is Belichick's fault. I mean, it's just that all the old players are too old, so they start with new players now, and they just don't get it. They don't just. When I see teams score on the Patriots, it's busted plays. What the hell was they doing? Where was the caught out of position or tackling with bad angles? It's just all of the mistakes that you typically see out of rookies. So, and Belichick, knowing how he designed defenses, they don't get it either. I don't think they even understand it. So
he's speaking a different language.
Yeah, and so really, he's probably running a dumbed down version of it, the defense he truly wants. The defense he truly had was back in the mid 2000s. That was his defense. That was the full execution of what he had in mind. The defense that stopped the Rams. It's hats off to him. But those players are gone now. Rodney Harrison, he's an analyst now. And Richard Seymour's in Oakland now.
So the Cowboys have Seattle, Buffalo, the Skins, and Dolphins.
Yeah, we have a weak-ass schedule, and we'll still lose half those games.
You think so?
I think so. I think we'll lose. I think. I'll repeat those games for me real quick.
Okay, so they have Seattle. They are 2-5. Buffalo 5-2.
We'll lose that.
Skins 3-4.
We might lose that.
Dolphins, Arizona.
Dolphins will win, and Arizona I'm not sure about either, but I think we'll probably win that one.
And then you got Giants, Tampa Bay, Philly, and Giants again.
That's gonna suck for us because if we're gonna have any shot at anything, it's gonna be a wild card spot, and we have to play the Giants so close together at the end of the season. That's really gonna hurt our chances because we always seem to split. We always seem to go 1-1 with the Giants, and it just seems a lot of questions there. Like we got the only real hard game we got is the Bills. I know we will not win.
You have to go 5-3.
What?
No, wait. You might have to go 6-2.
6-2. Yeah, that's not happening.
Hey, you know one team that we haven't really talked about? Let's talk about Tampa Bay for a second.
What about them?
I have to say, man, I am pretty impressed with Raheem Morris. You know, most first stints in the coaching, the head coaching, are always disasters. But you learn from that. You know, most people don't remember how bad the Cleveland Browns was with Belichick coaching them. You know, I mean, but he learned a lot from that. You know, Raheem Morris, for his second year into coaching, he ain't doing half bad.
He's not bad at all. And the thing about with that division, the NFC South, is I think in the next 1 and 2 years, you're going to see the landscape change a lot. Especially with Cam coming in, New Orleans getting older. Atlanta's still like a what if, will they, won't they sort of thing, even though they're 4-3. That's a division I see to be very varied and seeing change completely. I would not be surprised next year or even the year after that if Tampa Bay is the one fighting for the division title.
No, I wouldn't either.
I don't think Breeze and the New Orleans team has got another 2 years of being a real dominant force in that division. They're not really a dominant force this year, so they're already, I think, declining a lot.
Let me also, I'm sorry the change so abruptly, but one thing that I forgot to talk about earlier. Let's talk about that play with the Steelers against the Patriots when Palomalu spiked the ball with his hand into the end zone. Now, the rule is you cannot review. Now, that's technically not true. The rule, they say that the rule is you cannot review a play and say a penalty. There's a penalty there, so therefore, we're going to. They say that's the rule. Technically, that's not true because there is one instance where a play can be reviewed for a penalty. And that's 12 men on the field.
Right.
So, I honestly think that might be something they may need to look at because it may not have changed the outcome of the game in that particular instance, but for something so flagrant, there's got to be, because this is not a case where it's like contact, like hands to the face or horse collar or something like that. This is not dealing with that at all. This is dealing with football, where someone spiked the football into the end zone. And I think that since when he did that, that made it an automatic safety. That was an automatic 2 points, and you lose the football possession of the football.
Right.
And I think that's something they may need to take a look at because I think that should be reviewable.
Even if he did it intentionally or whatever, I think. Let's see. That's kind of a weird thing because if you open up that floodgate, I like the idea of instant replay, but I don't want it to have a wide scope. I think the fact that they automatically review on scoring plays and have a very limited scope on what they can and what they cannot review is a good thing because I don't want these games to get longer than they already are. I mean, I don't have a lot of time on Sunday, so whatever football I get to watch, it's great. I just don't want it to become like everything can be reviewed. I don't think there's a need for that.
I will agree. I don't want to make everything reviewable and certain plays. I mean,
it was also kind of smart on his part. I mean, if he did it.
Yeah, he knew that it wouldn't be able to be reviewed anyway.
Yeah.
But the reason why I say this particular instance is that when he spiked the ball, it led to 2 points.
Right.
It had, and I think that to me, if you can review for 12 men on the field, you should be reviewed for this because. The thing though is that it was because when you're spiking the ball, just like with 12 men on the field, it's very obvious if someone spikes the ball.
Right.
So
he punched it. He totally just punched it.
Yeah. So it's a very. So definitely that should be something to review because here's another thing though is that if especially if you are near the opponent's end zone. I mean, if he might set a precedent where, okay, if there's a fumble near the end zone, instead of taking a chance that I may not be able to recover successfully, I'll just punch it towards the end zone, and then let either A, one of my teammates will go and they'll just carry it. You know, they'll just fall and it'll be a touchdown, or B, it'll go out of bounds and it'll be 2 points anyway.
Right.
So I'm really kind of looking at it from the angle of what kind of precedent that it will set what he did.
Yeah, I honestly don't know if the league can do anything about it without changing some sort of core rule of instant replay.
Yeah, because it's interesting that, you know, I mean, again, the 12 men in the field, you know, that's something that's going to be reviewable, you know, and
there's a difference between 12 men in the field and the end of some active play. You can kill a play before it starts, but if you start changing all these plays and at the end of a play, you're gonna affect the outcome of the game too much, I think.
Well, I mean, they already made it. Every touchdown is reviewed.
Right.
You know?
Right. But they don't stop the game for it.
No, well, they do in some instances.
Well, yeah, if they see it, but I mean, as the field goal, they have a little bit of short time as the extra point is set up to say, okay, we want this to be reviewed on the field.
Right. So basically,
like a line. It's like an assembly line. Okay, this looks suspicious. Let's send it down to the field.
Which I say is the same thing, right? So if there's reasonable cause, we'll stop the play and review it. Otherwise, it'll stand. To me, this should be no different. If if the ball is all of a sudden being punched out into the end zone, and you know that it is illegal to spike the ball like that, that's just something that should be reviewable. Otherwise, if it's not obvious, fine, let the game continue as is. But if it's something that's obvious like that, then you might, because like I said, if you don't do anything, then I can tell you, well, like, man, I was smart. I'll just do that. I mean, a bad precedent could be set there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my.
Yeah, there's just too much gray area in that. I mean, you would have to say. You would have to go through pretty much every penalty in the rule book and go, okay, this is reviewable, this is not reviewable, this is reviewable.
Well, they kind of do that already. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, like I said, it's not like that. No penalties are reviewable. As again, 12 men in the field is reviewable. To me, this is just as important because by what Palomalu did, he essentially cheated. I mean, lack of a better term, he essentially cheated to get his team 2 points and make it, you know, and get possession of the ball.
Not so much cheated as the clever use of its own rules against it. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it cheating. The rules are in place there, but
I don't know, man, because, you know, it'd be different. I mean, like I said, I think
that was smart to do in the heat of the moment.
I mean, it was smart to do. It was smart to do. Was it? But to me, I say that if my point is that if the NFL does not do anything about this particular type of thing, then it could set a real bad precedent, and we'll see more of it. Oh, maybe it should be that if we see more of it, maybe it's something they should look at too. Because to me, like I said, you brought up a good point. You know, you can't review everything, et cetera, et cetera. On touchdowns, is, you know, if it's a sure touchdown, there's nothing remotely suspicious about it, then let the play stand. And I say the same thing. If the ball happened to roll in the end zone, but it doesn't look like anyone punched it, then fine. But if it looks, you know, it plainly looks like that someone just spiked the ball into the end zone to get a safety, I think that should be a reviewable play. If they got any reason to believe that, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, we'll see what they do about it, but I knowing how the league feels about instant replay, I don't think they'll do shit about it.
I mean, I'm not even going to argue that because I mean it's very.
Yep.
Who's going to be the Broncos for this year?
By the way, another thing that is bears repeating is that the rule specifically states it doesn't just say that you can't bat or punch. It specifically states that you cannot bat or punch a loose ball in the field of play towards the opponent's goal line. So So there's actually a rule specifically for that. I thought it was that you can't punch or spike the ball, period. But no, there's a rule that actually really...
No, because they do it to keep it from going out of bounds. I mean, they do that all the time. But, yeah, to gain or subtract your opponent's position is sort of illegal. But...
Yeah.
Yeah. But what were you saying, Mr. Met?
Who do you think is going to be the Broncos of this year? Or, like, the Giants of this year?
I don't understand.
Have a winning record and just blow it.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Like, they have, like, a decent record in the first half, but they just blow it at the end.
I gotta say the Giants. I honestly do, because with their schedule, with they have a really rough schedule coming up on them. I don't know if it'll be like a grand explosion of failure, but I think they have a real risk of collapsing, especially with the history of Coughlin and all that. Especially if Manning starts crying and throwing his fits, as he's prone to do. I think they have a real problem. Another team I see breaking down a bit is the Saints. To be honest, they're 5-3 right now. Their schedule is not bad, but something I've been seeing out of them for the last couple of weeks is there's a lot of leaks there that are becoming more apparent. I hope to God that I hope the Vikings never win another game again. That's kind of not the question you asked, but
now we got a beef with that.
Sorry about that.
Campbell's Chunky Soup has the stuff guys love, like huge chunks of meat.
There you go.
yeah. Let's see who else we got here. Like I said, I haven't been watching a lot of football this year. I've been usually working.
Why is Daigo playing Akuma?
Who knows? But that probably has something to do with all the fucking Akumas I've been seeing online the last couple of days.
Some people think Akuma's going to be decent in 2012 or some shit.
I'm trying to remember what kind of nerfs he got. He got the standing roundhouse nerf again.
What did he say? Yeah.
You can't. The palm is not an overhead anymore. Is that correct? I don't play fucking Akuma.
Right, but that was just a recent change to AE.
Yeah, I just saw him getting nerfs. I didn't even see him getting any buffs. Did he get any?
Yeah, there was some buff with his Ultra too, I think.
Where's that little fucker, anyways?
Really? He sidestepped the question? Neptune? Wow.
What was the question?
No, did someone say that there was a interview, a videotape interview
they don't
where
fucking
they asked
talk
him
about shit. They're worse than NASCAR guys. I mean, they don't talk about shit what they do. Fuck Daigo. That's all there is to it. Just fuck Daigo.
I mean, to me, it's just showing that he believes that with the nerfs to the Twins and to Faye, that Akuma rises to the top even with the nerfs that he got.
I don't know. I don't think even. I mean, Yoon is still going to be good.
I still think that the Twins and Faye will all be better than people think they are. It's just
Faye. The only thing the only real thing that really supposedly hurts him is that after the second Rekka, it's no longer safe. Which doesn't mean you can just bang your dick on your joystick. I mean. Come on, I mean, it's not that bad. Just don't go with the second Rekka if it's blocked. How hard is that?
Patrick said he's trying to call you, but it's not working or something.
He needs
there
to crank it more. I mean,
yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
What are you fucking playing? Fast Too Furious or over there? What the hell was that? First Call of Duty. Now that shit. What's wrong with you? I don't even know you anymore.
I'm not playing shit. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It sounds like there's a car back there. It sounds like a rice
That's
burner.
my laptop fucking fan, alright?
It's
Not
CPU
quite.
fan.
Oh shit! So your band sounds like a Honda. That's about right.
Oh wow.
But buffs did Akuma get, if any, in 2012?
His Ultra 2, I think.
Okay, other than Ultra.
The Ultra 2, nothing that I can remember.
That would make him so, like, apparently good that Daigo was fucking around.
Well, I mean, he still has the best set of offensive tools in the game. You know, to me, I think that he still.
But some of his tools got nerfed, like the palm nerf.
Yeah, but the palm was a change in AE, and I mean, he was still one of the best characters in Super, even without that.
I feel like I'm missing something. Come on.
I mean, I think that it's just through the fact that the top three are being nerfed, that Akuma will be right up there.
I'm gonna play GDPR. I'll be right back.
Okay, let's see if I can find it. Since Defeat Lee was obviously no help.
I thought you knew about everything in the game, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, the fuck, man. Let's see what we got. Shuriken, not gonna take 2 minutes to load. Yeah, fuck. Oh my god, this shit's pissing me off. You know what's gonna be scary, I think, though? Dudley. I think Dudley's way more scary than people give him credit for. Got that 3-frame DP now. A lot of the shit's safer.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the characters I'm interested in see how high, how high he'll go. You know, what his tournament placements would be.
Well, it doesn't matter because this fucking country, you know, everybody just plays, doesn't put work into anything. It just goes for what they see is most brain dead easy.
That's really interesting because I'm trying to think what character's going to be brain dead easy for them to use because.
Okay, here we go. Demon Flip Punch no longer an overhead. This was one of the few buffs in AE. They made an overhead in AE, now they're taking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Forward throw has 2 more recovery frames. And the only buff I see is when you cancel a teleport in U2, the damage has been increased to 421. So not really a lot of changes from what he is now. I mean, except for the overhead and the throw. I mean, that's not much to warrant that he will be super godlike. I mean, he very well could be in the stance of all of the other changes, but
that's what they're banking on because because the thing about Akuma hasn't really been changed a whole lot since Vanilla when he was really the best character in the game. Because Akuma owns the god in Vanilla. That was not even funny.
Yeah.
So I think that
I was one of the few guys who liked the Vanilla Sagat matchup. I don't know. I don't know why I liked it so much, but I did. It sure beat the hell out of fucking Honda and Super, and then fucking Yun and Fei Long. Fei Long is the worst for me, actually. I think. But I enjoyed playing the Sagat Vanilla matchup.
But it's interesting you said earlier about the country likes to play brain dead characters, which I agree with. I'm just kind of funny. I like to see what brain dead character that's high tier, that's top tier, because I can't think of one.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest proof in the pudding is Abel. I mean, when Super and was around, there was a ton of fucking Abels, and now other than Fancy Pants Dancer, my private dancer down in Arizona. I can't really think in Rico Suave. I can't really think of anyone who's playing Abel. Is even Rico Suave still playing Abel?
Rico Suave is a porn star.
He was at season. He was at season speeding.
He should be anyway.
Did he play Abel? I didn't even see him.
Yeah. He played Abel.
Yeah.
I've been hearing some stories about Rico Suave. I mean, that dude dude, he's the new kingpin of the red light district. I mean,
oh shit, man.
I'm like, gosh, I might. So I know what I'm going to do to make myself rich. If whatever the next tournament he goes at, if it involves a hotel, I'm putting a hidden camera in his room because I don't know. I'm going to get all the footage I need to start my porn DVD business.
Come on.
Remember that D9 story?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh my god. I'm surprised it hasn't blown up yet. I'm pretty sure it will come out. Oh.
Yeah, I like, not which is I've been saying for a while, but like even before Yurio or Oreo or the fuck his name is, has been playing Sakura. I thought she was also a very strong character that no one put it at a lot like other than Saber, and I can't think of who else put in a lot of fucking time. Oh, Chris G. Yeah, Chris G. I forgot about. I can't. I still, even though I've physically seen him play AE, I still can't think of him as an AE player.
Well, yeah, nobody really played in New York, but he beat Dominion in Evo, which was kind of stupid.
Oh, well, shit. There you go. I mean, I'm a fucking retard. What do I know? But I mean, if you can beat Dominion, Sakura Gal is not an easy match for Sakura either. I mean,
and that was like the first time he beat him. Like, what the?
Yeah. Well,
I kind of think, you know what, when you look at the results from season's beatings in AE, you kind of you could make the argument that you thought that they was all playing AE 2012. You got Cody, you got Sakura, you got Akuma up there. I mean, you would thought that it was AE in there, or 2012.
Yeah, we're talking some AE now. You might want to go back to sleep.
No, I wasn't sleeping. I was stepping outside for a little bit.
Wait, D-Nice, you're a Kuma player, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you're wondering how he's going to be in 2012 or something.
I think he's still going to be good. I mean, despite, a couple of his nerfs, I think he's still going to be really solid as far as, he still got footsies. He still has vortexes, despite his forward grab vortex. I think he's still going to be like top 3. Like,
really?
Easily.
Top 3?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, he's still got the best offensive tools in the game.
I'm sorry?
I still think he's I mean, I don't know about top 3, but top 8 definitely. Just a lot of his bad matchups didn't change much at all, or they, well, except from the Viper, but didn't change at all, or they got better. I mean, I still think he's gonna be good no matter what the fuck ever happens to the game. I mean, I actually think he's gonna be scarier in Marvel than he is now. More as a point character though than the assist with the air demon flip and all that shit. But yeah, he's still gonna be good. He's always gonna be good. He's gonna always be solid. Takedo's still gonna rape dudes in their sleep. And
well, not even Takedo. I had a talk with Ryan, Football Duck, and he said that Daigo has been playing Akuma in AE 2012 at the road test, and he's been buying people.
Well, why do you? Did you say why he changed?
Well, he said he used footsies. I mean, he said his footsie game was crazy. I mean, no one has even seen it yet, but I'm really hoping, and I'm excited to see it, to see how he plays Akuma in 2012. So I definitely can't wait. As far as that goes. But other than that, I mean,
it would be rather interesting because you know what? I'm surprised. I mean, maybe just because it never interests him, but I'm surprised that that Daigo hasn't played with Evil Ryu, because if you look at the change that Evil Ryu got from AE to 2012,
it's not really his style though. Like Evil Ryu is more of a gamble. I mean, if Punko ever played in all, it would be Evil Ryu because it's a very much of a gamble sort of play style. Like kind of what he does with Seth. Like he goes in, and Evil Ryu can't. He's got the fireball, but he does his best damage, in the inside. I mean, you can do no meter damage with you can do a 420 damage combo with no meter.
Right. Yeah, he has probably the best. Some of the hardest hitting combos that don't involve meter. And I think it'd be interesting to see who takes him up because I actually think he's.
I was kind of hoping Valle would do it, to be honest.
I think he's solid in AE. It's just that nobody really.
Yeah, I mean he's not good at all in AE. I think he's terrible at Evil Ryu.
Why? Why would you think he's terrible?
I mean, yeah, he's got the damage, but I mean, he's very unsafe. Very unsafe. In a game where the top 10 are pretty much characters who are very safe and do a lot of damage to Evil Ryu. I just don't think it's worth the effort and worth the gamble. I mean, I was like when they first announced Evil Ryu, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna play him. Fuck it, I don't care. I hate where Balrog's going, so I was gonna play him, and I started playing him. I'm like, why not just play Ryu? I mean, you have better options, better matchups. I mean, Fei Long is an A2. Fei Long is an A2 matchup against Evil Ryu. I mean, it's
well. Don't get me wrong. Well, yeah. I mean, what's I don't argue with that. There, I just think that except for Mr. Naps, that's the only character that I can think that plays Evil Ryu.
Chris G. I think I saw him play it a couple times. There's Darth Arma also tried to mess around with Evil Ryu, but didn't go very far with either one of them. Naps is the only one that pretty much stuck with him.
Yeah,
At least I can't think of anybody else. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That it's kind of hard for us to really evaluate him when there's only one person using him consistently, and other couple of people they've messed around him and they don't like him. Doesn't mean that he ain't good. It's just they don't like him.
No, I love him. I love him. I mean, I love the character. I love how he plays, but it's just not very good in Street Fighter 4. If it was in like other games, like other Street Fighter games, it'd be hella good. But in Street Fighter 4 with the huge ass reversals, and you got shit like the top 10 in AEs right now. Because I think Dan's better than Evil Ryu right now, easily. I think Dan's secret mid tier. Like everybody says secret.
Well, no, he's no longer going to be just secret anymore.
No, and in 2012 he's going to be even better. Dan's going to be way better. But Evil Ryu's getting some changes. I don't really. Let's see. I just saw it. I know one is with his forward hop kick. You can stop it in midair with a Tatsu, which is going to or EX Tatsu, which is going to give him some gimmicks, but I don't see anything really that solid.
They changed his axe kick, by the way, with your reader, and it also gave him more health.
Oh, really? Let's see. What did I do with it? I just fucking saw it.
They gave him more health, too.
Yeah, they gave him more health. I remember that. Let's see. Fucking...
Well, why are you looking at that? What's up with Kim Kardashian's marriage?
What? I said it earlier, like, anti-gay marriage people were shitting on they're ruining the sanctity of marriage. Well, Kim Kardashian just did it worse than anyone else ever did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a cunt. Who gives a fuck? I mean, she's gonna get all this news exposure because people are fucking.
Dude, I honestly think that had to be a fake marriage.
Yeah. I mean, he's on the nets and he's not even a starter. I mean, he's probably hurt for a little bit of money.
Yeah, he probably did it for the money. It's like, I need the money, man. And she definitely had to have way more money than him.
Even if he got a night with that hoe bag, I mean, it's got money and a night with Kim. Whatever. It's a wash for him. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, pretty much.
Big lockout. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Europe. Fuck that. Okay, Evil Ryu got the health stun buff. Far standing roundhouse has a bigger hitbox. Crouching roundhouse has a 6 frame startup. That's a down from 7, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Far standing fierce on counter hit knocks the opponent down and deals more damage. Also, you can FADC that into a combo. I'm not sure what that means though. I'm like, because if it's a knockdown,
which move was that?
Ass. What?
Which move was that?
Evil Ryu. It says far standing fierce on counter hit knocks the opponent down and deals more damage. Can also FADC into a combo.
I need to see that.
I wonder if it's like the Oni like palm thing that knocks people back. If you can, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Hop Hop Kick can cancel into Air Tatsu and EX Tatsu or Raging Demon. And I thought they already did that, but oh well. Medium Dragon Punch is 1 frame invincible. Light Axe Kick is +1 on block. Heavy Axe Kick damage is now 130 and 150 stun, but has faster startup. Can be used in combos where medium version was used before. Axe Kick, EX Axe Kick is 21 frame startup. If the Axe Kick hits airborne opponents, you will get an untechable knockdown. Oh, that's pretty nice. Air Medium Tatsu, when done while rising, will stop you from moving. Super will now do 370 damage instead of 350. Ultra 1 charge time is shortened, letting you to do level 2 focus attack into a max charged Metsu Hadouken. And that's it.
That's more changes than I remember.
Yeah, that last time I looked, the only changes I saw were the sweep buff, the health buff, and the hop kick cancel on the Tatsu.
So his sweep basically is the same, has the same startup
you
as
can
a
combo into it. Yeah, I think you can do it now on bigger characters, but I think you'll be able to do it on more characters. Not everybody, I don't think.
And it's the same startup as Akuma's.
Is Akuma 6 frame?
I believe
What?
so.
His sweep.
His sweep.
His recovery?
No, his startup.
Startup, I believe it's either 6 frames, yeah.
Oh,
His
so
recovery-
they gave him Akuma sweep.
Yeah.
His recovery is like 8 frames.
Yeah, Evil Ryu's recovery on his sweep is terrible, way worse than that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but still though, I mean, that's not bad though. Okay.
I don't know if it'll change, if they've changed any of the combos after Light Kick Tatsu as far as the sweep goes, but, I mean, he still won't have the Vortex, obviously.
No.
But I would like that, to be able to combo sweep after, the Light Kick Tatsu. Oh, we went back, phone's calling, work.
Whatever, I'm gonna play Goken and Oni.
Nah,
Goken, man.
They gonna
Yo,
still be ass.
Goken.
I still think they gonna be ass.
You know how ass Goken was in Super, but if you look at all the change lists, the buffs he gotten from Super to AE and from AE to 2012 is ridiculous.
I don't know, man. I think Yang is still gonna be solid. I don't care what you say. I think Yang is really gonna be solid. Yun is the one that's gonna be useless.
Sen beat Chris Hu's Goken with his 1 hour guile. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I don't think Chris Hu gives a fuck. And another thing, I think, you know what? I think Makoto's gonna be really fucking top. I think Makoto may be fucking godlike. Like, that bitch is gonna be on some other shit. But I honestly, it's probably gonna go down to Sagat, maybe A or S tier. I mean, all the other nerfs that the other characters got, especially the top 3, and Hyper, I think Sagat is just gonna go ham.
Yeah.
Holy shit, San Francisco 6-1? I thought they were 6-5-2.
Yeah, they're 6-1, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. What were you guys just talking about? What parts?
Sagat, maybe like top.
Yeah, he'll definitely be
all
back
the
up
other
there.
characters gonna get like nerfed to shit.
Was Guile nerfed, or did he stay the same, or what?
He looked like they stay the same. Sagat, I know they changed one thing and it wasn't even like useful.
Yeah, he's pretty much the same as he was in AE.
Let's see how Stanford does in NEC.
I don't know, Sanford. I don't know. Even if he loses, he just still get upset. Like, come on, you saw that video where he slammed on the buttons at Gall Crush, and he lost.
Of course, I was watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, that classic.
Basically, all they did with Guile is they unnerfed some of the nerfs they gave him. Like,
I thought they gave him more damage on his Ultra too. A little more.
No, they didn't change anything back about his.
No, they're like his air throw is back to 3 frames.
Yeah. and his spinning back fist got the damage nerf reverted.
Yeah, I mean, it was unnecessary nerfs from the beginning. It was like,
Oh yeah, Guile was not, even though he was like really good in Super, he was definitely not a problem. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, yeah, he would beat your ass, but it usually was because of your own goddamn fault.
All right, folks, I gotta get to bed.
All right, man.
Later.
Yeah, I'll take it easy. Thank you for coming on.
Alright, it's been real, man. You have a good sleep.
You too.
Night, night.
Night,
Keep your
night.
buckle tight. Peace.